All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Market Close. We are here 2 minutes early because I want to make sure that the mic is good. Please put a 1 in the chat. Mic good, thumbs up, anything in the chat to make sure it's good. I reset the computer, reset the software, refix the mic. It should be good. And if it's not good, we're going to immediately switch to the second computer. But mic, I tested like 4 or 5 times for it to be good. Is it better? We're good. All right, good. We're good. Hopefully it doesn't go crazy after we ring the bell. We still got to ring the bell. We got to ring the bell, especially if Tesla keeps doing what it's doing. But hopefully it should be good. And if anything, we will immediately switch to the next computer. But I reset a ton of different things, and it should be much better. Yes, it's good. Audio is better. Sounds super gay. Thank you. That is a great compliment. You know, I got an email today, and I hope the person who sent the email is watching. I got an email today. And the email started super serious. The email was, the email said, "Dear Mr. Amit, I am writing to express my extreme disappointment with the consistent poor audio quality in your live streams. As a dedicated subscriber, yada, yada, yada." I was like, oh boy, this person's upset. And I get to the third paragraph. And they said, "Given the substantial decline in the quality of your live streams, I am requesting you eat a tub of mayonnaise live on stream for the entertainment of your audience. I believe that it is only fair to receive this kind of refund for a product or service that does not meet the advertised standards." So, whoever sent that, that was a good laugh. At the first 2 paragraphs, I thought you were legit upset. I was like, oh boy, like this. And I don't, it sucks if people are upset. But then when I got to the mayonnaise part, I was like, all right, now you're trolling. Unfortunately, we're not going to do the mayonnaise just because of the audio issues. Quite frankly, I don't think anything can compel the mayonnaise, but the audio's fixed. We're back, and hopefully we're good to go. Broccoli Bob says that was me. All right, Broccoli Bob. Well, if that was you, you're not getting the mayonnaise. You are not getting the mayonnaise. All right, folks. Thank you for being here. Hopefully audio should be fine throughout the rest of the day. We've got Jason coming on in about 20 minutes. He'll be on for Technical Tuesday. So strap in, get some drinks, some food. We're going to be on probably till like 6 p.m. Eastern. So another 2.5 hours discussing the technical indicators around a variety of different stocks in the market. So we'll be looking towards that. But before Jason gets on, let's get started with some of the stuff we got to talk about. I think the story of the day is indeed Tesla. The amount of strength on Tesla is unbelievable. Quite frankly, unbelievable. 481.8. The entire market is red. Now, the market has kind of recovered a little bit since the morning. The morning was a little bit more bloody. Now it's kind of recovering. Robinhood got to like $40.34. It's at 41.53. S&P 500 was down 0.6%. Now it's down 0.43. But the majority of the market is going to end the day red. MicroStrategy as well, down about 4.5%. Tesla and Bitcoin, even though Bitcoin is still lower than where it hit in the morning at 108, it's at 106 right now. Tesla is one of the only stocks that's green. And again, I don't think there's a real way to explain it other than the fact that fund managers, institutional investors, and maybe retail feel like they're missing out on the stock of the century, the stock of the millennia, you could argue, and they want to get into it. And as a result, they are doing whatever they can to get more exposure to Tesla. I mean, this is just incredible, dude. I mean, like look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA right now is at 129.64, down below 130, down 1.8% on the day. The Max 7 has not had the best day. Apple's having one of the better days. Apple right there at 252. Microsoft's up a little bit. Meta, Google, Amazon, NVIDIA, all down. Tesla's up 4%. Usually when 5 or 6 out of the Max 7 take a breather, like we're seeing today, the other one tends to take a breather either because you just got everything going down together along with the NASDAQ in and of itself. But Tesla's being different. Tesla's clearly differentiating themselves from all these other stocks right here at 41.91, up 4.08% on the day. So this is pretty damn incredible. Rocket Lab right here, we got a little bit of green, up 1.29%. It was down on the day. Coinbase is down. MSTX is down. Robinhood's down. Palantir holding up at 75. I mean, Palantir is down, but like holding 75 is not bad at all. SOFI recovering. It was down 4%. Now it's down 1.5%. But the point is, a lot of these stocks are down. Grab is up a little bit. It was at 496. Now it's at 514. So you got a little recovery. Even Google's still red for the day. Most stocks are red. It was just one of those days where stocks are red, and we'll talk about why. Tesla's not. Tesla looks like it's about to close above 480, which is absolutely incredible. Now, why are most stocks red? Well, it really does look like J-Pow is scaring the markets. I've read a couple different reports on what people are thinking is going to happen for the Fed FOMC meeting tomorrow. I'll be live at 2:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live streaming it. Everyone thinks Powell's going to be hawkish. Like everyone thinks Powell is not going to be happy for the holidays. He's going to give us the cut. We have a 95.4% chance right now of getting that cut, but he's going to insinuate that, 2025 is just not going to be as easily available towards the idea of a rate cut as we thought before. And again, this is not J-Powell's fault. Inflation is ticking up. PPI is up, PCE is up, CPI is up, and core PCE is up. So when you have all these different inflation metrics going higher, we did have retail sales data today that was also very good. But the problem with retail sales being very good is that now people are thinking, well, this inflation thing is not going away anytime soon. That leads the Fed to be in a pretty awkward position where they might have to end up pausing. And obviously, Trump doesn't want that to happen. The market doesn't want that to happen. But that is the situation that we're having right now. Retail sales came in at 0.7% above expectations of 0.5% here today. So I really think the weakness we're seeing today, and also, it's so funny because it's not really weakness. Like Robinhood down 2% is not weakness, and it got almost below 40 today. You could say down 5-6% is weakness, but given its historical performance over the past couple weeks, not weakness. Definitely Palantir, given its historical performance over the past couple months, not weakness. But even then, both of those stocks, along with a variety of other names, now we're heading into 11 minutes until the market closes, down 1%, 2%, maybe. So it's not that crazy. It's not that crazy at all. And that is a reason for why I think we're seeing a lot of momentum in the context of where the market's going and why people are ready to buy the dip, even if they're afraid of what Jay Powell is going to say. And so, maybe tomorrow isn't that crazy. We're going to run through some scenarios on what I think will happen tomorrow after the Fed announces their decision. But overall, if people are buying the dip today and we're not seeing this really massive drawdown, 0.5% on the indices is not that crazy given their performance past couple weeks. Maybe things won't be that bad after Jay Powell does what he has to do tomorrow. Eric says Vlad gave the Trump inaugural fund $2 million. Did Vlad from Robinhood give Trump $2 million? I didn't see that headline. That would be Vlad was on Fox Business. Good interview. He was on Fox Business today? Really? I thought he was on Fox Business last week. That's wild. If Vlad gave $2 million to Trump, that means Vlad's thinking of himself like a big tech CEO, bro. If Vlad is matching Bezos and Zucks, and he's actually doubling, if he gave 2 million versus 1 million, that means he's thinking he's a big tech CEO, bro. 3 minutes ago, holy crap. Okay, I did not see that. I'll try to pull up that clip. And Eric, you're confirming he said 2 million. He gave them $2 million bucks. Why is Vlad giving Trump 2 million? I don't I mean, yeah. That's pretty easy. Crypto regulations, right? Financial deregulation, crypto regulations. That's probably the reason why he's donating to the inaugural fund. Yes, 2 million. Wow, there we go. All right, shout out to Eric. Thank you for that news. Vlad joins the big tech CEOs that believe they need to get on Trump's soft side, let's just say, in order to gain access to whatever they need to gain access to. Look, you got to do what you got to do sometimes as a CEO. And I kind of like this because he's basically thinking of himself as one of those guys by doing this, because I haven't seen any CEO besides the Mag 7 guys actually put a decent chunk of money into that inaugural fund. So it seems like that's what Vlad is doing. He explains why in the interview. All right, I'll try to find the interview and we'll try to watch it in a second. But okay, that's some interesting news. Then we'll analyze that in a bit. Bitcoin right here, 106.9. You got United Health, guys. This stock has been a disaster ever since the tragic shooting that we had of the United Health CEO. The reason why the Dow Jones is down, how much is the Dow Jones down this week? The Dow Jones is down this week alone, 2%. Past month, it's up slightly, but it's given up most of its gains. And it's been down 9 consecutive days, if I'm not wrong. It's because UNH is down 18% over the past month. They've got a lot of PR issues. They've got a lot of questions about the ethics around the board. There's so many different questions they're dealing with right now. A lot of investors just don't want to be part of the story. UNH is one of, I think, the top 10 holdings in the 30 names that are in the Dow Jones Index. So this one being down 18% in the past month, 12% in the past 5 days, and another 3% today, that's obviously not helping the Dow Jones. By the way, Luigi was officially indicted today by a court. So the dude who people think is the guy who ended up committing the crime, allegedly. Manhattan grand jury has indicted Luigi on first-degree murder, second-degree murder as a crime of terrorism, and other offenses for the shooting of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. So we'll probably get more updates on that story over the coming weeks. Okay, let's get into some macro stuff. So This is why I think there's a little bit of fear right now in the markets going into what Jay Powell is going to say tomorrow. The Magnificent Seven stocks now reflect a record 33% of the S&P 500. 33% of the S&P 500 is the Mag 7. So you got a little bit of concentration, right? You got a little bit of a breadth problem, which is why a lot of people are saying the Mag 7 are not going to do that well next year, even though, money might just keep flowing into them as a sign of safety. This percentage has doubled in 5 years. So 5 years ago, it was about 15%. Now it's 33%. At the same time, the remaining 493 companies of the index have returned only 20%. And for the past 9 days in a row, or I think 10 days in a row, we've had the longest losing streak of other S&P 500 companies outside of the Mag 7 in history. So we're seeing a heavy level of concentration to the Mag 7. I'm sure all of us put in the chat if you're not in one of the Mag 7 names. Like I think it would be hard out of everyone here in the chat that doesn't have exposure to at least one of those names. And not from the indices, but like you actually own Google, Amazon, Meta, Microsoft, Apple, or Tesla. It's hard. It's not easy to find someone who doesn't own one of these. I'm sure some of you don't, but like the far majority of you, I would imagine, are in one of these names. And so you take into consideration that concentration, along with the fact that the S&P is trading at 22 times earnings. Historically, it's only supposed to be around 15 to 17 times. So we are getting up there. And if you do a TTM, we're at 24. So that's up there as well. Along with the fact that inflation is sticky, and along with the fact that we don't know what the hell Jay Powell is going to say tomorrow, it leads us to pretty much get the past couple of days that we've gotten, which have been relatively red across a variety of names outside of Tesla. Because Tesla is Tesla, and Tesla's on a different planet right now, but Tesla right here up 3.82%. Oh, we have Micron earnings is tomorrow. Micron is not today. We don't have any earnings today. Micron and Lennar is tomorrow. So those two are going to be tomorrow, not today right now. Yeah, see, pretty much all of you guys are saying that you're at least in one of the Mag 7s. And it's just one of those things where if you're in one of them and it's heavily concentrated, then the question is, how can they continue to get more concentrated? I mean, if you take a look at Apple right here, Apple is just unbelievable. 253. Jason's about to get on the show and brag about how right he was on Apple. 253.56. I've been wrong on Apple pretty much all year. And not because I don't like the company, just because conventionally, and if I put a gun to Jason's head, I'm pretty sure he would argue that there's no way in hell this thing's undervalued. But that doesn't matter, because when you've got $1 trillion of money going into ETFs, and Apple is in every single ETF that's out there, yeah, you're going to have fund managers have to purchase some Apple, 253.54, and you get Apple closing at an all-time high. Apple's at 3.83 trillion. It has had 27 52-week highs this year. I mean, it's just astonishing. And some people might say this is a sign of massive froth in the market. That's definitely deserving of a pullback. Other people will say, look, it's going to the end of the year. You kind of don't fight the Santa Claus rally, and you kind of let it take place. And that's what we're seeing right now. Oh, here's another name that went crazy today. Nuke, it's only up 700% today. It was up 920%. I don't know what the hell this is. I have no clue. This is another small cap that somehow people find these names and they blow them up. This is also another sign that there's a little bit too much froth in the market for people to find these crazy names. But Nucleus Inc., N-U-K-K, again, I would not chase this right now. It's up 760%. It was at one point up 920%. You could have bought this thing for $2 at 8:40 a.m. and exited at 17 at one point. Like, it's insanity. Some of the stuff that's going on right now is kind of crazy. And I think some of that money eventually will be flushed out of the system. Rock Lab right here at 1.78%. But a decent amount of money is rotating out into some of these other names and going into things like Tesla and things like Bitcoin that we're seeing currently right now. Now, speaking of Bitcoin, 106,879. We do have a couple updates on Bitcoin. David Sachs met with Cynthia Lummis, who is the person who is one of the senators that is trying to get the government to officially set up a Bitcoin reserve. So here's the picture of that right there. David Sachs, again, is the crypto and AI czar. He met with Senator Cynthia Lummis, and she said that this will be the most pro-digital asset administration ever. I look forward to working closely with David Sachs to pass comprehensive digital asset legislation and strategic Bitcoin reserve. Again, David Sachs has a lot of companies he's invested in the private markets that are working in the crypto ecosystem and the AI ecosystem. So he is probably more incentivized than anyone to get this done. Also, David Sachs historically has been very bullish on crypto. He's been super bullish on Solana. The more Bitcoin goes up, the more that helps all these other assets. So he's definitely the guy that is financially incentivized, which isn't the worst thing in the world, to make sure that there was going to be proper legislation around this and that we're going to get this Bitcoin reserve to be a real thing. Michael Saylor also quote tweeted and said, under David Sachs' leadership, the U.S. is primed to lead the world in digital assets and financial innovation. So you got Michael Saylor here that is also happy that David Sachs is part of this crypto AI czar thing that we're having right now. So look, I think that's what we got going on right now. In the equity markets, you got Tesla that's about to close at an all-time high. You got Bitcoin that's flirting with an all-time high. It was at 108 this morning, right now at 106. Everything else is just kind of boring. And I think everything else, Hood, Palantir, SoFi, GameStop is not boring today, but GameStop's up 6%. So I guess we got some excess money going into GameStop. But Amazon, Google, Meta, all these guys today are taking a breather. CrowdStrike's down 3%. Riot's down a little bit. What else do we have? ARM is down 1.5%. All the semis are kind of getting hit. AMD continues to find its bottom at 125. I think none of these names matter until J-Powell speaks. After J-Powell speaks, we'll have more clarity. I kind of think J-Powell is going to be okay. I think people are freaking out for no reason. And I think it's not going to be the most hawkish pause ever or the hawkish cut ever. But as long as J-Powell is good, then, we should have a decent day or a decent rest of the year. And then we'll figure out what happens in 2025. All right, here we go. We got 10 seconds until the market closes. We're going to ring the bell, and we're going to hope the bell does not mess up the mic. Spent like 2 hours trying to fix this thing, so hopefully it's good. Here we go. Tuesday, December 17th, 4 p.m. The stock market is once again closed. That bell also counts for the 481, 482, 483 that we saw on Tesla this morning because we weren't able to ring the bell. All right, here we go. Please, for the love of God, do not tell me the audio sucks. And don't lie in the chat, bro. Don't lie in the chat. Don't say, Amit, we can't hear you because I'm going to go crazy. Don't do this to me. The bell was a little muffled. Okay, but the audio should still be fine. The audio should still be fine. Is the audio fine? Yes, the audio is fine. I'm not believing any of you guys now. Don't lie. I'm not going to believe any of you guys. The audio was good. That was a Temu bell. Okay, whatever. Well, the bell was muffled, but hopefully that hasn't messed up the mic, so we're good. All right, Tesla closed at 479.86, up 3.64% on the day, 479 after hours. We didn't get the 480 close. The market makers did not let us get that 480 close, but we closed at 479.86. Yeah, I don't know. I guess the bell is having issues with the microphone because you guys said it in the morning as well that the bell was muffled. But as long as it's not affecting our voice right now, that's all that matters. We'll figure out the bell situation in the future. I like the new bell. All right, for all the people that hate the bell, you got 2 streams with the bell not ruining your ears today. So hopefully that's okay. All right, Tesla right here, 479.86. NVIDIA ends the day down 1.22%. Rocket Lab up a 1.81% on the day. Palantir closes the day 74.39. Right at the bell, it fell about another 1%. It was only down 0.8%. So you got a little bit of a sell-off right near at the end of the bell. Robinhood ends the day at 41.63. Not too bad, down 3.63% of the day. I did buy the dip on Robinhood. $40.75 is when I bought the dip this morning. We put in a limit order and we got filled. Grab also, it went to 496, ended up on the day at 514. Not too bad for Grab. Marathon was up slightly on the day. CleanSpark was down on the day. CleanSpark continues to be the worst Bitcoin miner ever, in my opinion, but it is what it is. MicroStrategy 386, that's down 5.4% of the day. United Health was down another 2.6%. The Dow Jones was down about 0.5% of the day. SoFi down about 1.3%. It's up a little bit after hours, 1671. Google had a good day at 201 at one point, now at 197 to end the day. HIMS also got upgraded to $42. It was up like 5% of the day. Then it fell to 31.13, so it ended the day down about 0.4%. AMD 125 down about 1.32%. AMD still trying to find that bottom. Again, NVIDIA not doing too well at 130. At least it was above the 120 level. On the Max 7, we had Tesla that had the best day. The rest of them kind of had a little bit of a tough day. Meta was down. Apple was up about 1%. And then on the crypto names, you had most of them down on the day as well. MSTR was down. IREN was down 1%. Hut 8 Mining was up 1.23%. Marathon was slightly up. Bitcoin was up. CleanSpark was down. And then Coinbase was down about 1.16% as well on the day. Quantum names had a big day. Let me just make a list right now for Quantum because you guys keep mentioning these names. So let's make a list right now for Quantum. So we're going to add in QBTS, IONQ, and then RGTI. And then I'm going to put Google in there just because without Google, I don't know if this would get started, at least over the past week. RGTI up 32%, IONQ up 5%, QBTS up 15%, And then Google was slightly down on the day, down about 0.52%. QUBT, that's another one. QUBT, quantum computing. Okay, that one was up 51%. Goodness gracious, dude. I don't know what's going on with the quantum names, but for those that are in the trade, congratulations. It has worked out. I've got to do more DD. I've got to do more research on what these companies do, how they operate. I'm going to try to get someone to come on the show to help talk about them as well. But we'll try to go a little bit more deeper in what's happening. QUBT did get a NASA contract, correct. They got that NASA contract, and that was beneficial for them, and that helped them as well. I'm Beneficial said it's froth, in my opinion. I'm not going to disagree with you. I do think some of these names are getting a little frothy. I mean, up 51% of the day. No one can tell me that doesn't sound like froth. On a $187 million market cap, I feel like that's the definition of froth. Like in a regular market, a $180 million market cap doesn't go up 50% in a day. But there still might be a catalyst. And if you're trading it, then that's all you care about, right? You just care about getting in lower and getting out higher, which is kind of all that matters here. But that's what we got in some of the quantum names. Bitcoin just below 106.7 right now at 106.5. PayPal, haven't talked much about PayPal. PayPal at $90. It did get upgraded by Bank of America last week. SoFi again, 1670 after hours. United Airlines down about 0.51% of the day. ARK Innovation, take a look at that, 62.98. ARK now year to date. Kathy has sold some Tesla and Rocket Lab over the past month. ARK year to date's up 24%. ARK's catching up with the indices. I mean, S&P was at 29%. So ARK is catching up towards the end of the year, even if in the beginning of the year, it definitely had a little bit of a slow run. Why is Coinbase down if Bitcoin is up? Because Coinbase is up a lot, even though Bitcoin is not up as much. I mean, Coinbase already ran, even though Bitcoin ran. Bitcoin doubled and Coinbase basically tripled from some of the lows. And so a lot of that's already priced in. Same thing with MicroStrategy, right? Again, MicroStrategy was $200 on October 5th. It peaked at $550. Bitcoin did not go up as much as MicroStrategy went up, but it was implied that Bitcoin would go up. So the street bought MicroStrategy before Bitcoin went up. So now that Bitcoin's going up, the street kind of already is saying, well, the premium's already baked in, along with the fact that Michael Saylor keeps diluting shareholders every week with this at the money offerings to buy Bitcoin. But outside of that, the premium's kind of baked in right now. And you can't be too upset if you've been in MicroStrategy since the beginning of the year. Okay, I think those are most of the headlines. We're going to have Jason on in just a little bit. Nothing too crazy outside of that. A couple stats I want to show you guys. Someone did buy 9,998 contracts of the January 17th Rocket Lab $27 call for $2 million. So you do have some big buyers coming in for Rocket Lab at $27 in a couple weeks for expiration. So they're betting that Rocket Lab can get above that level. On top of that, we did see the Tesla 850s get slammed to the tune of $30 million worth of premium yesterday. So we are seeing some more call buying happening for Tesla, and Tesla continues to do well. So that's why you're seeing some momentum with Tesla. And those are some of the updates in regards to unusual options that we see. One clip I wanted to play for you guys, and then we'll have Jason go on the show, is about William Blair, analyst, about what he said for Tesla. So let's hear his perspective here, and then we'll keep going.
At least in the last few weeks, has been, okay, maybe you do get a wholesale reinvention of federal mobility policy, but the technology itself is still not there on robotaxi. We're still doing demonstrations on movie studio lots. How do you answer that?
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's literally been the pushback for the past 7 years on Tesla. And for the most part, those bears have been destroyed in that trade. I'm not saying that it won't happen. However, let's look at sort of the positives, and then let's weigh what the negatives are. If we look at the positives here, you've got you've kind of bottomed from a delivery perspective. You've got a Model 2 that's going to be announced on the auto side. You've got an energy piece of the business that has a higher ROIC, return on invested capital, than the other components of the business, that's sold out for the next 3 years. You have sort of autonomy, that's going to come in, and probably a pro-regulatory environment for that, given Elon's position in the, around the government. And then you also have a play on XAI, which, for most people you can't buy into that directly. And so this is a proxy on that. On the negative side, you're going to get likely cuts on subsidies, which advantages Tesla in the long run. Near term, it's probably a hit on the gross margins. I see more positives than negatives, and I think that's why you're seeing the stock continue to move up.
And again, that's kind of the analyst opinion we've seen over the past couple of weeks. All of these guys, Mizuho, Wedbush, Bank of America, Morgan Stanley, they all upgraded the stock to 400. Now some of them reaching into the 500s because, quite frankly, when you put all those things together, the bear argument isn't that strong. Is Tesla overextended? Sure. A lot of stocks are overextended right now in the market. But like to be bearish Tesla, there was more arguments back in April and May of this year to like actually have somewhat of a bear case, even though that was the best time to buy. Right now, it's hard to see the bear case. Now, granted, some of the bears are saying, well, if you only see things with rose-colored glasses, you're not seeing some of the bad things that might happen. And I guess some of those bad things could be, deliveries slow down a little bit because of the tax credit goes away. But the core thesis around the technology, not only around Optimus, but also around energy and around FSD, which is now rolling out to the far majority of people, as per yesterday, the head of AI at Tesla announced. It's really hard to see that overall bear case. Last thing I'll say, and then we'll get Jason on the show. I did publish my entire response to Joseph Carlson. I'm not going to read it because it's really long. So for anyone who wants to read it, I'll put it in the chat. You guys can read it. And I went super in depth on it. The one part I will read from this, and this will be a little teaser. You guys can read the rest later on your own time. If we assume 1.5 billion robots are shipped by 2040, the humanoid robotics industry could reach 31 trillion in revenue, assuming $21,000 per profit on these robots. And that would be 15 to 16 trillion in profit by 2040. Not all of this is going to go to Tesla, but when Elon says that this is a $25 trillion opportunity, he's not joking around. So let me say that again. If the industry is doing 15 trillion in profits and you put a basic 30 PE on that, that's a $450 trillion market cap. Tesla needs to get a small slice of that to have Optimus alone, not FSD or energy, just Optimus, be worth upwards of 20 trillion. And if you want to know how I get these numbers, again, I'll put it in the chat. There, I go through a lot of the way we get to these unit economics, but this far surpasses Amazon's TAM around AWS and e-commerce. And that's why I think humanoid robotics is one of the most important things in the context of thinking of how to analyze Tesla. All right, here we go. Technical Tuesday starts now. Let's roll the intro.
We're in, man. We made it. We made it. We made it. I didn't have time to run over there and shut the door though, so hopefully the contractors aren't too loud. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, you're good.
Let me know in the chat. Yes. What's up, Jill with the W's, Julius W. You guys, I have a question. Are you guys liking these Technical Tuesday sessions? Are you making more money?
Put a one in the chat. Put a one in the chat if you like Jason.
The number one.
Put a one. Dude, people love you. People love you, bro.
J Money.
Especially because we do so many tickers, though. We do like
oh my God.
tickers.
We do.
We definitely don't.
There they are. All right. Okay, I feel better. We feel validated now.
Dude, honestly, dude, there's not that many people that know about technicals as well as you do. So I'm just happy you come on every Tuesday.
We try. Definitely try. How about
you're the only one I trust. Let's just say that you're one of the only people I trust.
It's hard, right? Like sometimes, like especially trying to accommodate for your viewers. By the way, right? Like, because I know that you guys have a little bit longer time frame, and at least week to week, giving you the updates. So,
all right.
Did you guys? Yeah. Do we remember? Do we ever do reviews? By the way,
we should go ahead. You can start with it.
I mean, we have to do the review. There's the one review. It was Bitcoin, right? I was like, hey, we got to do this review. Let me see if I can share. So what day? It was Tuesday. Look at this, you guys. Tuesday, I yelled at Amit and I said, the lows are in right here. And he gave me that really funny look. And I was like, nope, that's it right there. It's beautiful. Here we are, new all-time highs. Ava's in the house.
108. And it looks like.
So I would say if you're looking at Bitcoin and you're still thinking about the altcoins and stuff, give those a bit, right? Because if you guys remember, one of my things about going into Ethereum and the alt space was like Bitcoin dominance needed to, what I would say is wane. And at this point, I think you let Bitcoin do its thing because Bitcoin dominance is back on the rise at the moment. So you look at the crypto space like a mega cap, small cap kind of rotation. So let that do its deal. And then when it starts to stall out, then you can look at your other ones, but not until then. So right now, I think Bitcoin actually has the most strength at the moment. And you might get a little frustrated waiting for like Ethereum or amidst like, what was it? Pepe coin.
That's not my coin, but yes, that's one of them.
You're like,
okay,
why,
so we have a lot of crypto to talk. Can we start off actually today with Tesla? Because I think that's what's on everyone's mind. And
what are your guys' targets on Tesla? We can do it.
So my target is there's this thing called the moon.
All right, that's fair.
And Tesla's already on it, so I guess we're going to Mars.
I mean
this is you got to admit, this is unbelievable what we're seeing on Tesla.
It's unbelievable, but it's not at the same time because it's Tesla. And if you guys weren't part of this Tesla moment, then you'll be like, wait a second, right? Because this Tesla moment, we would have said the same thing. So we're essentially just getting the next wave of this, if that makes sense. And Tesla, yes, it can be crazy. It could be a rough ride, but this whole moment in here, I'm almost looking like is like one of this, right? When Tesla
it looks very similar
to 22, right? And now we're literally just looking at this, right? So to that end, I mean, Tesla has, I mean, these other, the 160 levels are just, they're silly now. They're never coming back. Okay. Hopefully they're never coming back.
Okay, so let me start a question to help you frame the Tesla TA. Do you think we are more likely to go to 550 or 350 based on what the chart is telling you?
6.
Okay, answers my question.
6. So at this point, it's but in what time frame, right? Because depending on your time frame, that's what
next
matters.
6 months. Next 6 months. First half of 2025. That's my time.
6.
Okay, so tell us, give us some Mozart technical analysis on how.
It was really this day, and this is last Thursday. So so this red line, I'm just gonna call it. So ATH is all-time high. So that's the last all-time high on Tesla, 414.50. Literally right there. And so Tesla, being Tesla, gave you basically 1 day of pullback, and this thing was just so coiled tight that it really just completely exploded right off of this. And every day since, we've just made higher lows or higher lows and higher highs. So where I'm getting the 6 from is just like we would do with any other chart of this kind of setup. We kind of just take this major consolidation area here and really just double it, right? And so the first mark is kind of like your halfway point, and that's going to be about 570, right? And so usually when we see this setup, it's about 570, just under 6, but this area in here is about 620s, right here, about 620. I don't know how it doesn't get to 69 at that point, or 690, because Tesla's got this thing with these funny numbers. But a full extension is actually going to be just over 7 into the 730s, believe it or not. And yeah, like beyond that, if the trajectory goes, and I have a hard time sometimes like giving these wild numbers, but look, it is what it is.
Yeah, you're not hesitating with saying this stuff. So you think it's. I'm looking at the volume
at
shelf.
Least at this point to here, yes.
And that's because it's in price discovery, right? Because it's way above the volume shelf where it seems like there's any resistance. Is that?
Yeah. So the entire battle was like fought down in the 2s, right in here. That was the big battle. And as we got out of that, it was just massive explosions. And Tesla is, again, it's trading like a proxy to Elon. It's in the right space. It's doing well. I mean, and when Tesla goes on its runs, it's kind of like the whole market just pauses for a minute and only Tesla goes. So you don't want to not be in this, but you can take it day to day. A good pullback, if we see it, is going to be around that 420 level. Obviously, it seems really far away from here because Tesla's sitting here at 480, but it's not. Tesla has been moving like 20 to $40 a day right now. So it's not absolutely out of this world to be thinking, hey, look, it's going to be making that kind of a move. Even this little stuff. Yeah, this is like $25 a day type of moves in each kind of like momentum, 25, $30 is not that hard to fathom. And right now, like from that prior all-time high, it's about $70. So half of that pullback is somewhere, it's going to be between, we even got it today, I would say about like 450, this little pullback intraday. On Tesla right now, it's that fast, right? So today,
yeah, can you explain what happened today? Like how would you explain the market, I guess, technical psychology around today?
For Tesla specifically, or just in general?
No, for Tesla specifically, because we got to 484, then came all the way back down to 467. Now we end the day at 480. Like how does that happen?
Yep. So it's super simple. So do we have any mastermind students in the chat right now? You guys, they might be able to tell you. We may. Job losses were too big. No, it has nothing to do with fundamentals. So this is yesterday, right here. So this is today, and this is yesterday. This is yesterday's high. It's essentially just a breakout, push through, pull back, gel, yes. And so right here, again, if you're going to make a higher low, you want to see it hold really just like that prior topping area of yesterday and this volume shelf right here. Jill would probably say, if she has the mastermind stuff, would know that, hey, look, this is a scripted setup. Sorry, it's a little busy for some non-active traders, but this is that opening range low. So opening low, we started out early in the pre-market, setting a high at 480, pulled down quickly to 463, came back and retested essentially yesterday's highs, and then instantly reclaimed over 463 right here, right there. This, boom, that would be a buy. Literally right there. The moment that reclaims what it is, and I'll just clean this up.
Yeah. Can you say why exactly that's a buy? How do you recognize
this opening range low? We call this an orb. So there's something in trading called the opening range without getting too technical. And we always have, so we have 4 things essentially. So we have prior day high and low, pre-market high and low, and opening range high and low. Sorry, that's 3 things. So you can't, this is the lows. If Tesla were to get below 460 and hold or reject, like if Tesla had done something like this here, then we would have said, okay, it's short, but it's only short to 450. And quite frankly, I had sent in our trading group, like right over here, because every day you have something called an opening range. And this is Tesla's opening range today, right there. And so if you're inside any opening range, and this is for high frequency trading, like intraday, day trading, you have to measure what your opening range is. And then you also have to measure your pre-markets, not post-markets, just pre. So you have, and then you have prior day low, right? So you have all of these things here. And then if we think about it like it's that auction, right? So auction market theory, the market is just a group of buyers and sellers. And so if there's no buyers up here to bring it higher over 480 or essentially that London session high, it's got to go back down to collect more buyers. So it ends up being what's like an intraday shorts, and you know that it's coming down to this level here because that's what the opening low is. So whenever you lose an opening range high, you definitively go to an opening range low, and it doesn't become a short unless you break that prior day level, but we never did. And so that ends up being a price of interest here where buyers stepped in and pushed it higher right back over that opening range low. And so we know at that point, we're at least going to 475. This is level to level, and then 480 right here. And that becomes your trade essentially right there. So tomorrow, it's very simple. So tomorrow, if we were to move forward, you have to mark today's high at 483. If we're over that, we're likely going higher. And it doesn't become a short unless we're below, really, we would call it, I mean, it's the same 463. So it could come down as low as 463 and still be a long tomorrow because that's where those buyers stepped in. And we want, if we do get a pull back down, we want to see those buyers step in again and then push it back over here. if this makes sense. If it can't get higher, what happens is that it goes into kind of like a chop mode, and it needs to like just barely breach, and then you'll see something like this. And then this is the process of price discovery, where it's essentially just collecting buyers and sellers.
Right.
So there's somebody right now, if you think about it like this, somebody has a bunch of Tesla and they might be selling it in this area between 483 and 478, just theoretically. And they only have so many shares to sell. They can only sell so many shares before they're out of money or they're out of shares. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so once they go away, right? And you'll bang up against this wall 1, 2, 3, likely 4 times, and then you're off into the races. Once this person who's like what we might call like a reload seller, out of funds, then they're good to go. Then you're good to go as far as the stock is concerned. And conversely, if these are your reload buyers, so people are buying in this area, you want to see them continue to stick around and develop that support line and eventually raise that higher and higher until eventually this, who was the old seller, becomes a new block of buyers. And that becomes support. And this is what we would call in technical analysis, like an SR flip, where resistance turns into support.
Do you think this breakout on Tesla is fundamentally technical, or is there any catalyst outside of just it's Tesla?
I mean, what fundamentals are there on Tesla? I mean, there are.
Well, there's just upgrades that we're getting, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah, but most of the upgrades have been like a proxy on Elon too, right?
Yeah,
it's not. Yeah. So the story hasn't changed on Tesla. So that's what's true. And the original fundamental thesis in terms of robotics, in terms of FSD, energy, and all that kind of stuff is still completely valid, if not even more valid. I think this. It's not that we've had incremental. It's just that it's just not invalidated. And whether or not something's overvalued or overbought doesn't matter to me in any context, quite frankly. Those aren't things. So the technicals will tell you when something's done.
Right.
V13. Yeah, I'm actually not even sure what V13 is, but
FSD.
Oh, version 13. Okay.
Yeah. You still don't have a Tesla, bro. I don't know why you don't have a Tesla.
No, but I have to go get my AI phones. I haven't decided where I want to go buy them, because I usually buy them at like the Apple store, and then because we like Apple Care.
Hold on. Did you just call it an AI phone?
Yeah.
It's not an AI. It's a phone.
You called it. It's
not an AI phone.
I'm using your term. It's an AI phone.
No, that was my term that Apple should have stole from me, and
they did.
No, they called it an iPhone 16. That's what they called it.
I mean, I'm gonna call it my AI phones from now on.
All right, can we do Palantir?
Yeah, so Palantir's it's somewhat similar, but this is run a very long course. Somewhat similar in the terms of, we just went through that exercise of showing like, hey, where are the buyers and sellers? So the sellers were up in here. Remember this? So before, we had what's called like a reload seller. So someone was over here selling 67s. Do you remember this moment?
Yep.
And what happens is they run out of shares to sell, right? And you get this breakthrough, and what you're looking for is this area to turn into support, right? So prior resistance, boom, right here, this day, 67, you get it, right? And so as time moves forward, what you're looking for, you get it again, right? So here, they're still there. So I think this area still remains important. And we've got a new kind of cohort. So this is that exhaustion day right here that someone is like still selling into. So right now, I quite frankly, I think Palantir is stuck between these areas, between 78 and 68, but let me tell you, that's a good place to be stuck. What you're going to need is you're going to need to bump up against this wall a couple more times. And you may need to come back down into this 68 a couple more times. So for the next 7 days, I'd say you could probably put like a neutral trade on, not much longer than that, because Palantir doesn't stay. It hasn't stayed sideways for more than a few days, for more than a week at a time. So this is 20 days, most recent long term. So, and this right now we're sitting on about 13 days. So I'd say maybe 7 more days, and then we'll figure out who's going to win this battle. But this is the battle in the market between the buyers down here, 68, and sellers up here closer to 80. So one of these two groups of participants are going to win. And right now we are still like setting higher lows. So right now between the bulls and the bears, the bulls are winning, quite frankly. So good news for that. But you want to see them continue to win. So this is the kind of trajectory right now. If it breaks down from here, yeah, you'll get down to the 68s, but you know, that's only, I think that holds, if that makes sense, in the 68s. It might not even get that low, quite frankly, depending on the sentiment here. The only thing is that Palantir is now in the NASDAQ. And so that's not been the best thing for stocks typically lately, but we'll see, right? So ideally,
by the way, guys, the rebalance I was told today is not happening Friday. It's happening December 23rd. So Friday might not be the day where we see inflows.
Yeah. So it could look a little rough. So here's my word of caution. So 73 is this current consolidation center. Like this is where most of the trading is going, is at 73. If you look at this old here, you're starting to see the buyers kind of slowly step up like this. You see this? And so that's it, but it's very new group of buyers. So I don't know how strong they are. I wouldn't put a lot of like faith in that group rather than the ones closer to 68. But that said, you know, what I would be really cautious of is something like this, and what we would call like a look above towards 85, and then one of those another exhaustions during like when you actually get the inflow. So that's the biggest concern. So I do think that you eventually breach this, but whether or not this becomes support, that's what's TBD right now.
Right.
Because you don't want to see this. You don't want to see the reload sellers like really lean into this short and get another exhaustion day, which is quite possible. But even this exhaustion day would probably put you yet another higher high, and even this would be yet another higher low, just the same. So that still puts me in that like 68s, as close to 70 or lower as you can.
Do you feel comfortable looking at this chart? I mean, does your gut as a technical analyst say it stays in the 70s or makes a trip back to the 50s? Like, how are you perceiving this?
It's a real question. So there's one kind of like hidden thing here that is a small concern. And what I would say to that is that every time that we make a new push to the upside on Palantir, it's been getting fractionally smaller. Does that make sense? Like the moves to the upside have started to become smaller and smaller in terms of percentage and dollars.
Yeah, and it makes sense because the thing's up 400%, right? So
yeah,
it should be smaller.
So even this is 20%. That's good, right? But this last one, you know, 60%. I don't know how much it can go. But the moves from this big push, it's starting to get a little tired. So where I'm going with this is that maybe you get a little bit more, but I don't know. But this is really setting up to like, it might have a big move and then take a really long stall, like a 3-month long.
Which
sideways.
is not bad. That's healthy for a stock. That's
because it can't go the longer it does like parabolic moves, the worse it is without having any kind of correction. The good thing is that Palantir's had lots of corrections like this throughout this kind of journey, if that makes sense. But yeah, we are still.
We haven't had 80.
Yes,
we haven't had
85s. 85s is where it should. So we should see that 85, and you're gonna get. I mean, 85 it's really. This is a very long view. It's just like that Tesla kind of measured move.
Yeah, if you
What is
apply
this
that same
box?
move, yeah, you get to 85 roundabout.
It's that box, right? And so we're really close to 85. So I think we've kind of like, have we hit 85? Oh, damn close in the pre-markets. So 85 and change is going to be a big deal. If we can get through 85, which I hope eventually it can, this is going to be $125 next year. So that's
is that the 80 to 120 logic that you use?
Oh yeah. So the second we were over 75, we started to really talk, like, have that become real. But it's 85, you get that, and it's just a whole nother, it's 125.
We got a super chat. Do you think market makers want to keep it down so that funds can buy it cheaper before NASDAQ inclusion?
No, I mean, the reality is that market makers could care less about the stock prices. Market makers' job is to make a market. It's not to make money off of you. And quite frankly, if they are fired or sued. So the market doesn't really work that way. So unless the terminology is hedge funds.
Well, yeah, I mean, you replace market makers with hedge funds too. Do you think there's any concerted effort to keep the price depressed before NASDAQ inclusion is the question? Because we haven't really seen a pump after.
So I think, like, for large funds, but how do they do that? Are they shorting it into themselves? Like, no. But if I would feel like if I were to take a short or a hedge position on Palantir, so I sold a little bit, and that's all I sold. I'm not selling anything else right now. The only time I ever think about potentially hedging my Palantir is, like, first of all, it's not big enough. But it would be like on those exhaustion days because it just continues to hold the lows. It continues to hold the lows and base out for a while, and taking a breakdown. Palantir doesn't break down, or it hasn't broken down. If that makes sense.
It takes a nap.
It has exhaustion. Like, it gets exhausted at times like this, but but it does not break down. Like, actually, no, this was my buy. This was my buy right here. So that was the one time. That was the only time it broke down, and I bought it, and it wasn't even that bad.
Yeah.
And I think I sold it. I sold it up in here when we first got the biggest exhaustion. But it's the same thing. So this here looks very similar to this, where we're still kind of basing out, and we're not breaking lows right now. So there you have it. I think the real problem is, like, okay, think about this. We're coming into the end of the year, and this is where I would think, okay, maybe Q1 could be rough for Palantir, potentially. We're coming to the end of the year. If you book profits on Palantir this year, is likely going to be short term, right? And what's keeping it up is, like, if you've bought it like me, even here, this is, I don't want to book it this year anymore because I'll have to pay, like, heavy on that anyways. I would book things like, if I was long AMD at 160, I would book that, right? To offset your losses or offset your gains, if that makes sense. So as we go into the end of the year, we get this very funky moment where people are kind of like shoring up their portfolios, booking losses. You'll get moments where things that were bad get even worse because people are booking the losses, paper losses, and they have to wait 30 days before they can buy it again to avoid any wash sales. But you're not really going to be booking Palantir right now. Does that make sense? You're going to be waiting like a year from when you bought it so you can have a better, especially on something like this. So I think that keeps it alive for a while. But once that time is like passed, then we can start really getting to, okay, choppy waters, which may end up being at 125.
Okay. Can we do NVIDIA?
Oh, yeah. So NVIDIA is a funky one right now. It's below all of its like key moving averages. I don't know if this was our chart.
Is it a short?
No. It's a TBD. So NVIDIA, I mean, I guess it depends on your time frame, right? So this was, NVIDIA is important to know like context, right? So this was our prior kind of breakout right here. You remember this? And so this group of buyers becomes very important. And that's exactly where we are right now. So remember this area, this is like the 130s. So if this fails, we deal with 123, magic number. It was always a magic number. The clean, even $3 trillion market cap. I honestly don't think it gets there. It's really close. Like it's really, really close. And we've more or less.
Oh yeah, well, 123 is 3 trillion. You're right. That was a big number for a while.
So, and I think it remains a big number. And is my point, right? So right here, this red box, this was the prior resistance. And so what we want to see is you want to see that turn into support. This setup now looks like Microsoft looked like for a very long time, where, and just as a comparison, it reminds me of Microsoft a lot. Whereas to me, I don't know what chart this is, but anyways, this is my Microsoft chart. It was always like right in here, you want to buy as close to 400 as you can. Every time we got in there, it looked like ready to roll. Or we saw repeated buyers stepping in. But if you're looking at it just like as a, what's the word? Like a rookie technician or something like that, you might have said, okay, let's say at this point, Microsoft looks like it's going to fall over, right? Like this looks like you could have said Microsoft's going to roll over.
Yes.
But no, it didn't. And so I think as long as this cohort of buyers holds, sorry, my voice. Look at what happens. You start to set higher lows and you continue to go higher. It's not the cleanest ride, but what's true is that this order block, right? So these group of buyers definitely stepped in and then they stepped up in the 415s. So this trajectory or this setup takes a long time to play out. And so that's what I would caution most people with. This is like 6 months. And so I think NVIDIA is in for one of these moments. And I think it's going to be 123 is every time you see it, that's where you want to probably pick it up. If you get anywhere close to that, sub 130. And so that's my gut, right? And yes, people are like, oh, it's a head and shoulders, blah, blah, blah. But look, I don't think anybody's, the thing is, I feel like the thing right now with NVIDIA is like the market's kind of in this decision mode of like, is NVIDIA the one that we want to bet on? Or is it Broadcom? Or is it Micron who reports tomorrow? Or is it this company or that company, right? It's so concentrated in NVIDIA. Do they want to start to spread out more into like software or different components or Astera Labs, right? Which has just been absolutely ripping.
Yeah, and I think sometimes people use too much head and shoulder, and then it gets into their eyes, and they can't see past the head and shoulder.
Right. And so that's what. So I would say.
Did you get it though? Did you get what I was saying?
Yeah.
Because head and shoulder,
their eyes,
the shampoo
gets into their eyes. So the eyes are where. So the eyes are right here.
You can't say that was bad, bro. That was good. I'm saying that last night because the shampoo got into my eyes, and I was like,
you want to see something funny? So a real novice might be like, oh, this is NVIDIA happening now, head and shoulders. And they might be like, oh, this is the neckline, what we call the neckline, right? But in reality, it's actually more like this. And the way that you measure out a head and shoulders pattern is you take the top and then, you ready? Take the top and then you duplicate it right on the bottom. And so this right here is essentially head and shoulders pattern full, believe it or not. So that's where it is right now. So right now, this pivot 132.11 is where the last that's the very top of this box right here.
So end of the year, you think it goes to 120 or 150 based on this chart?
In the next 2 weeks?
Yeah.
I think it's at 130.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I think it's done making its move, and it'll probably base around here. And in 2 weeks' time, if you bought this on January 1st, you'd probably be looking at like 180. Legit.
Yeah, and with JPOW tomorrow, I mean, we have no idea how that's going to impact.
Right. So did you do the forecast, the Fed Watch forecast already?
Yeah, 95%. Yeah.
95% of a cut, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you go forward on that or no?
Let's go to January.
So we're forecasting 3 cuts this year?
I mean, I think the Fed
Last I
wants
checked.
January, the chance for a cut is 16%.
No, but what is that? What is that rate?
Well, the market wants 5 cuts next year. I think Jay Powell might give us 3, which is going to be upsetting. That would be.
Well, I might challenge that if I'm reading this right. So if we go to December 2025, what's our rate right now?
450.
So 450 now. And if I go to December 2025, the market is pricing in. So you might say that the market wants 5, but the market is rated right now for 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if for whatever reason there's a change in the atmosphere that says we may get 5, that's your fuel to go higher for sure in between now and then for next year. Because right now it's 90% stall or not 90% cut next or tomorrow, but then it's an 80%
pause.
Yeah. And then a very small percentage. They're kind of like 50-50 here. Do we go or do we not? So tomorrow it's not going to be about what actually happens. It's going to be all about the commentary based on this right here. Does that make sense to me?
Yeah. No, you're right. And that's why people are thinking it could be a hawkish cut if the commentary.
Yeah. So if it's a hawkish cut or a dovish pause, I mean, if it's a dovish cut, then off to the races, baby. We go.
There's going to be a fun end of year if it's a double.
Yeah, and Santa's definitely coming to town because it's TBD right now is what it is, right? This is SPY, right? It's very TBD. So like SPY has gone definitively nowhere, and we take it based on just this Friday high right here. This is crucial. So this Friday, I'm just gonna say. It's going to be off of the NFP day. So these are just NFP marks. So high, low. We have to reclaim 605. So if tomorrow we can like close over 605.75, that's ideal. The problem here is that a lot of times that non-farm payrolls day marks the high or the low for the month. So far, that's actually marked the high of the month. It's possible that we get all the way back there, but we're not confirming. We're definitely not even close to confirming higher. 605.74 is absolutely crucial. That comes from Friday's low, pre-market low when the market received that NFP number. So this is going to determine your trajectory, essentially this box right here. If we're below it, and we have some bifurcation in the market too. So like this is your box right here. We need to get at least back into it, and above that would be ideal. But it works just like this. And so the difference, and I say bifurcation, like it's split because the Q's completely different, right?
We hit an all-time high, right?
Well, here's Friday. So like I said, it works like this. So this is NFP, right? Super novel way to figure out your trends, but extremely accurate. This is that NFP high and low, and we are over it. So this locked in essentially the lows for the month. The Qs different trajectory than diamonds, SPY, IWM right now. So there's the split market where the mega caps are finally making the moves. We see breadth kind of pull back a little bit. This is what I was talking about with the crypto space, right? Like let Bitcoin do its thing, kind of chill from everything else for a minute until it starts to stall out. So Qs here are nearly at this near-term target, or basically at an average week's range, which I believe at 550, I think is actually an average week's range. But yeah, this is a totally different trend. So the Qs, NASDAQ, I want to be long everything that's in the NASDAQ right now. SPY is kind of like on edge, but diamonds were short out of the gate, right? So this is that Friday high low. See how that works? It was just very clean. Boom. We broke down and we've gotten nowhere but down since we lost this 446.50 level.
Right.
Although I would say that we are very close to probably near term. I'm actually really interested in this. So like if you're thinking about value buys, if you're a value type of person, diamonds are have the most value right now. Not the biggest value is not the best gauge, but that's where you will find the most value.
Can we do AMD? Can we go to that one? We got a lot of people who are buying this one, trying to think if it's a bottom. I don't know why they're buying it, but people want to. Yes, there's a lot of people on Twitter. If you just kind of look at the sentiment here, thinking that the 120s are the bottom. The question is, what does the chart tell you on this?
No.
Okay, why?
Chart tells me no. Not yet, at least. So you have a double bottom yesterday to today. True. But in order for this to stay valid, you need to make a new high. So for me to even begin,
why does a double bottom need a new high to be valid?
Because there are two things. There's something in trading called a break of structure and a change of character, right? So break of structure is a high over the last high. So call it as simple as this. So this will have to be 127.08. BOS is break of structure. That's today's high. Yesterday's high, 127.75. So every day, I don't understand how you could say that when every day we're making a lower high. Does that make sense? Like, how can you say that we're done going down when every day we're making a lower high?
Yeah.
Wrong forward PE. Oh. So today's the first day where we didn't exactly make a new low, but we tested the same lows. So
okay, is this a falling knife? Is the better question.
So today's the first day you have like a sub 1% move. Oh, never mind. 1.3% down. Yeah. So far, because like and then even worse, right? So here's your character. So your low, your last low, we're going to COCH, we're going to call that change of character. Well, it's okay. I can't say characters. It's still break of structure. So this is the last low right here. Look at what's happening just in this very near term. This is the last low. I'm just like, I'm flabbergasted. What part of this chart looks bullish to you guys? I don't know. This is when you say, like, when you see people on Twitter saying things like, how good are you at your technicals? Because, like, help me understand. I'm confused. What part of this chart is bullish?
I think a lot of people are buying it on a fundamental long-term basis, and they think 120s is the best price they've gotten in a year.
Yeah, and it's the valuation. Matt says it's the valuation. Sorry, say that again, Amit.
I was just saying, I think a lot of people think, going to Matt's point, that they haven't seen the 120s in over a year. PE is 97, which is still more expensive than NVIDIA, but they feel that it's cheaper than it's been in 2 years, basically.
Oh yeah, we can feel whatever the hell we want to feel, right? But like, there's no, so no part of this chart is telling me that it's just no. It's just no. Like there's no here's what I'd say. I guess if you're going to buy it at 125, maybe, right? It depends on your time frame, right? Like if you're going to hold this for a couple of years, yes, right? If your time frame on NVIDIA is 3 to 5 years, have at it, right? But be ready to buy it lower if you can or need to. Because the chart's not telling me it's done just yet. You know, the lows are actually, it's right in here. So it's 116. So see this level, and this is where maybe, okay, you might think it's 120s because you're looking at this, and this is 125, but challenge your own thoughts for a second. Just because you think something doesn't make it true, right? Here's 115.80. This looks better. So what's the and I guess, you know, if your time horizon is 3 to 5 years, what do you care? 125 versus 115, right? You really shouldn't. So go ahead and buy it.
People are saying their time horizon is 5 years, but most people want this to go to 150 by January. So
Roy, this guy's clueless on AMD. I'm telling you, I'm not talking about AMD fundamentals. I'm talking about technicals, and I'm not usually that wrong. Go at me at Twitter if you want.
Mic drop, subtle flex. Hey, look, Jason, that was good. It wasn't better than my head and shoulders joke, but I'll give you that one. It was good. It wasn't as good as my head and shoulders, but it was good.
Yeah. So like I said, you know, it's all, are you investing or are you trading, right? If you're trading and you're telling me that this is going higher, my ask to you is like, where's the higher high? Because what you want to see is like, you want to see first to break a structure, a higher high, and then you buy it on the higher low, right? So what you have to see, you have two things, two big problems. So one is this area here. Can it pop? I guess then what's your target, right? Because every low, here's that last low, has been met, even this breakdown, right? So every time it's broken down, it's been retested and met with what? More sellers, right? And we've done it again so far. So this is your kind of area. So 126, you can kind of pop up to. If it's like so bad, right? Like, and it gets over. So what I would have to see is I would have to see this 128 area breach. And then you look for a higher low like that. And then, okay, we just go to the next level. That would be a trade. Again, not investing. And so that's really like this becomes, it's here. So if it's your last low, you're looking for this. And that is the only way to say that you're not catching a falling knife, right? Because you've made this right here. This becomes a higher high because this is your last high. And then you see a higher low, which would be over 125. That would be like 126 areas. And then go ahead and take it. But you have to take it only up to 130s because you have to know that, hey, look, these people that were selling in this area, at least this is a target, like your first target. These people that were selling in this area may still be around. And this is also going to line up with your prevailing downtrend right here. So you got to know that, hey, this is an area of caution, and it won't be until you get above that, like this, that you can say, okay, I'm going to lock it. If I breach this, I have another higher high. Okay, I can add into strength on a higher low. And then you're just on to the next area of interest, which is like this. So, but does this make sense? This is how you avoid buying a falling knife.
It makes a lot of sense. And if you have to pay a little bit more, then that's okay, is your point.
Yeah. You wait till you see a higher high above above yesterday's high. So yesterday's high is 127.75. I'd say 128. It's 127.75. If you see 127.75 intraday, and then you're closing that day and or the following days over 126, you're a lot safer.
Right. Okay. Can we do SOFI?
Oh, that thing looks good. Sorry, Roy, by the way, I had to anyways. SOFI looks good, but it's also kind of exhausting. I think that so this is the area I'm actually really interested in. And that's just like IWM in general. I think that becomes really interesting based on tomorrow's rhetoric. So SOFI, it's 18, 19 bucks to me that we should ideally get into. We are firmly over this $14 kind of like pivot back here. And now we've essentially doubled that consolidation right into 15, wherever this is, 1590. So this is that pivot. Oop, I'm kind of glitching right now. Sorry.
Don't worry. This morning, you're way better than the stream this morning. We had some issues in the morning.
Really?
Yeah. The mic.
So this is kind of like that consolidation high. You see this on so major buyers were down here, but now what I'm seeing is actually a new group of buyers coming in. I don't think that they're the same buyers that were here before, but right in this $16 area, I'm seeing like accumulation. So if there's like distribution and accumulation in charts. Oh my God, get right in here. So I think we get a little trouble over here, which is like over this. So 16. Yeah. So this is what I like. So as long as we're holding over this 16, I think as close as 16 as we can get. If we were seeing this kind of like baiting action back here, this is pretty bullish to me. And I think this is getting ready to make another big move. So I think it's spent some consolidation time. I think this is going to come down to FOMC. But about a month going sideways right now on SOFI, making a new high. And this is what I was talking about. So even if you were trying to be short, right, you would have thought that, hey, look, 15 bucks, it was going to break down. We never really broke down. 16 now is where I want to see the buyers start to step in, and we are starting to see that happen. So essentially, whoever was here selling like this, these people were selling. We want to see them turn into buyers. And today's price action, honestly, is like exactly that. So this is a really good look to me on SOFI. I'm long. I'm not selling. I'm not even trimming.
And we had an insider buy yesterday as well, which is great.
Oh, did we?
Yep. 30,000 shares.
Nice.
34.
Do you want to do grab? I haven't looked at it.
Yeah, let's do grab.
Grab.
Are you in this name yet or no? You're not in this name?
Well, I took a lotto. Let me see.
I got to 496 today and I missed that buy. I got it like 505, but
yeah, so I bought like 1,000 shares at 520, and it looks like I bought like another 500 at like fives. Or love, like right in here. So I was just looking at the same kind of thing as like where, which by the way is not a meaningful thing for me. I like, it's just, I want to,
we know 50,000 shares is the baseline minimum. So
it's a placeholder. So I want to watch. I want to wish.
No, hold on. My placeholder is $1 of a fractional share on Robinhood. Okay. Your placeholder is 1,000 shares. That's ridiculous, dude. That's my placeholder.
It's got to be something so I can like care, right? Because otherwise I'll just sell it and like I really won't care. Anyways, this was the area, right? So I took it like somewhere in here. Actually, I took it right here this day, this first day, and then I added a little bit in here because I'm looking at really this area, and I'm wishing you a lot of luck. And if I don't do well, I'm not going to ask for a refund. It's all good. But the net consolidation, I think, is, if it's going to be constructive, it's got to be right here. Right. So to me, yeah, this is where it had to be. I did because I wanted to watch it in options portfolio too. What did I do? I did buy. Do you have options on this? I'm not usually like buy options on penny stocks.
But this is not really a penny stock. It's a $20 billion.
It's a penny stock.
Well, no,
It's
technically,
under
'cause
$10. It's funny to me.
but but if a stock's worth 100 billion at a $5 stock, that's not a
Right.
penny.
$10 though is the threshold usually. What is? Oh, sorry about April 2025, 550s.
Yeah, dude, look, the fundamental conviction I have on this is pretty deep, and I'm not going to get into it here. But I just, from a technical perspective, you're saying the consolidation looks nice, at least at this level.
I'm saying that if I'm going to take a shot, this is my first place to take a shot.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't hold right here, right now, trade goes off, if you will, and it comes back to 4, and then I really look at it again. If that makes sense. So we're looking at this kind of consolidation. We know we haven't broken out over the 6s. But here now, this is where, I don't have my, oh damn, where's my sound effect? Right. This is the line or whatever. Oh man. Oh well.
I'm going to get a soundboard in 2025. And we're going to be able to play some more sounds. Yeah. The other thing about Grab that's really interesting again is, dude, it's $6 billion in cash. Like each share is actually $4.40 realistically. The 60 cents you're buying is cash.
That's cool.
That's another fundamental reason why I like it.
Man. Oh well. Does anybody know? This is my perimeter and my perimeter is me. That was the one.
Oh yeah. You said that before.
Damn it, I don't have it. Okay, whatever. I'm distracted. But this would be my perimeter right here at around $5. But I didn't go out and sell $5 puts though, just to be very clear, because if it doesn't hold, then I would think it's another $1.
Yeah, that's fair. Can we do Rocket Lab?
I bought Rocket Lab again.
Whoa. Okay.
Did you?
No, dude, I don't have cash, bro. I don't have
any cash. So I really wanted this 2109 for that prior all-time high right here. I really wanted it, but I didn't get it. The closest I got was this 22 and change, so I went for it. It was like one of those positions was like a placeholder, just like this grab, and now it's gone berserk. And I'm like, okay, this looks legit. We follow Money Matt, real Money Matt, and I like it. But this was technically 21 and a quarter would have been where I wanted to see it. So now I think we're off to the races. We've had a nice little base here. We held that prior all-time high, which was crucial. So that's why this was absolutely crucial. This is like that Tesla chart where like you saw Tesla break over a prior all-time high, pull back and hold it just for a little bit. I mean, this was actually a bit longer, right? This was like a week, 2 week almost base. And we're back through here. So right now where I'd like to see Rocket Lab is in the low 30s on this next push, just from this consolidation low. And the net trajectory here is like the high 30s. Nothing crazy.
So I definitely think this is a candidate to sell puts on in 2025 because the premiums are great, and if you get assigned, it's not that big of a deal. The run up to 28 and back down to 21. You think from a technical perspective that's just traders taking some profits and trading it at that range? Yeah,
I think so. I think it's like you might have a lot of people like me potentially. We're like, okay, this initially was like a speculative bet, super small, super speculative bet, but now it could be something real. So let's actually look into it a little bit and maybe potentially get a little bit more serious. Right now, you're looking at 40,000 calls to 10,000 puts. That's ultra bullish skew.
That's very
bullish. And honestly, the
IV 4-to-1 call versus put. Goodness.
Ratio. So that's the stuff I wish Robinhood would actually give us on a quick view. It takes me half a second to see net calls versus net puts, what the top 10 like largest block trades are on the options chain. Well, Vlad definitely got your feedback. You definitely gave it loud and clear to him about what you want. You said his app was shit, and he said, "All right, tell me why." So. We'll see. But yeah, I think the option chain it needs a lot of work, but I think they'll get there. Robinhood, by the way, I think that's going to go. Let's do Hood. So Robinhood, so a lot of these are like consolidating and now starting to make, what is this? Another new high. So whenever you see a new high, right? So this is the last high, 42.75. We make a new high, 43.76, even though it's small, right? I really want to see higher lows start to form, and and a higher low can show up as low as $40. That's fine, or $39. Totally fine. And so yeah, I think we're still there. So new high, pull it back. It's 39 or 30, yeah, about 39s down to 37.50s. I'm happy. I traded out some of my call, so the call debit spreads for the leaps they're fine, but they're not. The thing is, they're just not going to go anywhere. It's like dead money at this point because it just needs to decay. So I swapped out for some $50 Jan 2026s, a little bit lower. What did I get these at? Like $7. I think that was here at 35. So I think it was this day that I just picked them up at this $36 kind of pullback, quick and dirty. And then make these.
That was like a little flash crash too. The 36, 35.
It might have been.
It was like for maybe 10 minutes and then it was off.
Yeah. It's so, if you don't have, like, Jill's got a system now, but like it's these moments that give you the type of opportunities that could
look at that, bro. We didn't see those levels for like a month, and then boom, you get it for 10 minutes and that's it.
Yeah, that's pretty bullish to me, right? And I bought a good chunk, a small chunk, like 26, like not even that long ago. And I just completely violated my cost basis. And I was like, right in here. Or actually, no, it wasn't even there. It might have been right here. I was like, I don't even care. I'm just doing it. It might have been here. Yeah. I think I bought it here or one of these 2 days. And I was like, I don't care. I'm just buying. And it went lower. I didn't do anything. I probably should have bought more. But that one was like, dude, they're just going. This is just happening. I'm just going to add.
Yeah. And I mean, if Bitcoin keeps doing that, its thing. I mean, we saw the November metrics, 30 billion of crypto volumes is amazing, 35 billion. So
yeah. So speaking of that, right? Like the crypto, I think that the trading, like Coinbase, probably not. Yeah. So Coinbase, I think these are like a lot on the altcoin stuff. You're not going to be trading a whole lot of altcoins right now while Bitcoin's doing its thing. So just let this breathe for a bit. I don't know valuation wise where this lands, but it's at a big.
It's had a 10x from the low. It was at 35 in February 2023. It's at 300.
Dude, so I bought Coinbase at like 38.
When'd you sell it? You sold at 50?
Yeah, dude. I sold it here at 80. Whatever. I bought it in here. And I think I bought a little bit more here. And then I sold a teeny tiny bit here. And then when this was like, and I was like, oh, no. I was like, and this happened. I was like, I can't do it. I'm just out because I just like the time horizon. This is 2023. And I blinked, dude. I just blinked. And next thing I knew, it was like $180. I'm like, oh, God. So I just recently bought it back in the 160s again, though. So luckily, that was right here was my last kind of pickup.
Right.
And I have not sold this either.
Okay, can we do Broadcom?
I missed a lot in there. So this is a weird one. So Broadcom, my gut tells me this needs a breather. Where's earnings? So earnings is here.
It took a little breather today.
Yeah, I was short for a minute. Like just a hot minute. Is a hot minute a term? I guess
it's a term. I think it's a term. It's not as good as the Head and Shoulders term, but
over their eyes.
Dude, like, did you actually get the joke when I said it, or did you?
It took me. I got it, but it took me a second.
That's why I asked. You get it? I just wanted to make sure you.
I get it. So this is the pivot. So I just saw this quickly, and I was like, oh, 230 puts, and then I actually closed them right here. But this was that yesterday pivot right in here. So it's constructive, quite frankly. it seems like it needs to take a breather, but it would be, the breather to me would be in that sub 220s for a little bit of a pullback. But if this area holds, and I'll say this area, so this is, what day is this? Friday's high. So this is going to be important just from my calendar perspective. So 229, call it 230, is going to be a major pivot on Broadcom, because at 229, or 228.70, if Broadcom is below 228.70, then it goes red for the week. It's Tuesday today. And so Broadcom really needs to stay green for the week just to kind of like chill. So realistically, it is probably 228.70, which is Friday's high, where Broadcom can kind of base out around there like this and potentially chop 225 for like a blink of an eye maybe. But you don't want to see it really below that, right? Because if you're below this 228 area, then you're likely going to see to like low 210, like you're likely to see teens in the low teens, if that makes sense. Like you're very likely to see it in here. But for this current trajectory, you really want to see the lows locked in somewhere around 128 or thereabouts to keep it green on the week and just kind of like coast.
Do you think the market needed a new semiconductor name besides NVIDIA to pump money into, and that's why we saw the pump? Because this was weird, bro. The CEO's like, we're going to have a ton of AI revenue, and the market's like, all right, here's 250 billion.
Yeah, they weren't even talking about, what year were they talking about revenue?
2027.
Yeah, so like, it's funny because most of the time you see us talk about 2025, 2026, but he had to go out to talk about 2027 to make sure he didn't pull a Micron and be like, oh yeah, we're sold out for the next 3 years.
Oh,
you don't want to say that.
Thank goodness he didn't say. We'll do Micron after this one as well.
Which I believe, the industry has learned. That's just, if you were to lock in like the worst earnings comments of the year, that's way up there on the charts.
And it was so bullish when they said it, bro. They're like, we're sold out for 2025. Market's like down 30%.
Yeah. So that's like correct. So Micron tomorrow after hours, I think, is important. FOMC is important. This chart right here is also very important. I feel like I'm not really getting this view quite well. So, and this is just basic TA. So like this area here, this was your prior high on SMH. And so we held
ETF.
Yeah. So the reason I'm not looking at any of those is I think that this chart right here actually becomes at this very moment probably the most important chart in the market.
Why?
And because semis are the one group of stocks that have not played, right? And so semis are all over the NASDAQ, but they're also everywhere else too. If the market's going to grind higher, semis need to play, in my mind. Right, wrong, or indifferent, I think that semis are important. And so, yes, maybe you could try to be bullish in AMD, but what you need to see is you need to see this chart confirm. And it's very, very close. So right now, just the other day, we were very close to breaking down, but this support was holding right here in the 239s. I'm actually, get this as a pairs trade, I'm actually long SMH, short NVIDIA, literally right now. So I want to see like the entire group of semis like get their act together. And that means a broadening within the sector. I don't necessarily know that it's going to be AMD. It's clearly not the horse that I'm betting on, but it's the weakest of the bunch. So I'm short AMD, long SMH, because if it doesn't go, AMD is going to get the shellacking first. But I'm hopeful, if that makes sense. We're very close. I think today is an important day, and tomorrow's even more important. If we zoom in here, and this is actually where it is pretty constructive on the semi sector, is that you've started to break out just barely over this consolidation. Unfortunately, what I would say is that like sometimes these initial breakouts are false. So it's too early to call here now. because you don't want to take it on that initial breakout. You want to take these kind of setups in two different areas. So either you take them down here, right, towards the lows as they're breaching, and these are selling areas, or you get a real like point consolidation and you get a break and then you get a retest and then you go long. And so this is where we are on the semi sector as a whole. And I think it comes down to Micron tomorrow. So AMD could catch a bid, and I think it's going to be based on Micron. And this is the chart right here that's going to tell you whether or not this happens. So if we zoom in even more, right, and I'll just drop down to a 30-minute chart, technically today's lows on the semis was constructive. Now I want to be really cautious when I say that constructive, because we've had very constructive moments like that, like here, 257 on SMH, but it ends up being a big washout. So here now it looks constructive for a broadening inside of the semi sector. And that's, I think, if we do eventually see that, we see that in Broadcom. We want to see that in Micron. If you get a 2 for, and we saw that in Marvell a little bit. If we get like a 3 for, then ideally we are good to go.
And you're not short AMD or NVIDIA right now, are you?
No, I'm short AMD.
Okay.
And I'm long SMH. I was short AMD, long NVIDIA, but NVIDIA wasn't ready, right? So it still needs more time. AMD, here's where I'll close my short. Very simple. So remember this long down here? And I said, like, if 128 or 127.75, AMD is not going to be a short for me if we're over 128. So to me, look, you take this long. If you breach 128, I'll close my shorts up here, and then I'll probably flip long on a higher low if we can hold around 126, 127s. That's fine for me, right? But for right now, technically, I don't have any reason to. There's no reason to flip long on this other than you're just guessing from a technical perspective. There's nothing bullish about this specific chart. It's getting into a zone, but just because you're at a level, it doesn't mean that you want to jump out and buy it. You need to have like some kind of criteria, if this, then that.
Okay, so can we do Micron then?
Yeah, so Micron, I think is so we're getting a bit of a pre-market, pre-earnings kind of pop. It looks good, but we're right to a very specific area. So I feel like if you're going to take a lotto, fine, 115s, which are really expensive, by the way. And I'm going over to this different site just to get the average moves. So Micron last quarter moved 15%. So it can, and then 2 quarters ago, 14%. So it can be a big mover. So 14, 7, 14, 8.6, and a couple smalls like 1.8, 4.4. So on average, if I were to swag, that's probably somewhere like 10% average. So it's sitting at 110. A 115 would put you like towards like 130s on the upside, like massive upside.
Where is the stock right now for Micron? It's like 110, right?
Yeah.
No, 108.
108, yeah.
Do you because of the guidance they gave last time, do you think they're gonna have to announce something like different to get the street excited again?
Oh yeah, I don't think he's gonna make the same mistake twice. I really hope he doesn't make the same mistake twice. But I think that's what we're starting to see. So I think the street isn't expecting him to make the same mistake twice either. And it's this area, right? So the thing about Micron is if it can't, like, let's say it does okay and it gets up to 115, but it can't extend through 115, that's not good, right? Or it's not super bullish. That means that whoever was selling here is still there. So it can go higher, but it's not out of the box, if you will. So like the box, that's your resistance. And down here is your support area, like towards the hundreds.
All right.
So
Well, this is going to be an important one tomorrow.
Yeah, I think it's important just in general to show like, hey, look, is there breadth, right? And even like, what do we look at? LRCX? No, this is different. TSM. And again, probably your second largest semi. It's constructive, but it's not gone anywhere for a couple months this whole quarter.
You do also, so SMH is up 47% year to date. It's clearly outperforming the SP. Do you think there's also buyer fatigue on the semis?
Well, that's there has been. So you're talking about a year, like year on year, but SMH has literally been at this level for 2 years. Does that make sense? So this is 2 years right here. It's been right around 250s. So I don't think there's buyer fatigue. Like this is 2024. This is this year, July.
No. 2021 it was at 150. What are you talking about?
2024.
Even 2022 it was at 103.
SMH?
Yeah, SMH stock. Let me show you what I'm looking at right here. I'm just looking at a basic 5 years. In 2024, it was 249. If I go to 2022, it's at 95.
Oh, these are days. Sorry,
these are days. Totally. Yeah, these are days. Yeah. I mean, look, it's had a good run over the past couple of years, but you're right.
Yeah, you're right. So okay, so back to this. So this is how many days?
It's been flat the past month.
280 days.
Yeah.
So it was like 9 months, something like that.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's buyer fatigue, really. I think like, and that's where I'm constructive. This is where like if TJ's Intel, is he still long Intel?
No, he took the L on that and took a tax loss.
Oh no. I mean, could you imagine? I don't know. I mean, maybe. But I'd rather AMD over Intel. How's that? Does that help out?
I think everyone would rather anything over Intel, to be honest.
You never know. Maybe next year.
Okay, can we do Uber?
Uber?
People are saying Uber's dead because of Tesla. Nothing has changed in the fundamentals. Is this a screaming buy or is this actually?
It's probably a buy. I think it's a buy, but I don't know if it's a screaming buy. It's a tradable buy. So it's still this. It's right here. This is your buy. I believe this white line is the prior all-time high, or a prior all-time high. Yeah. So this is. From this perspective, you can probably see it a little bit clearer. So this area here is where you want to see it hold, right? And you want to lock in a higher low. So technically, here's the weird thing. So this is your last high. This is your last low. This is a higher high. And the lowest area that a higher low could possibly show up is going to be 56.86. So Tesla can still come down another $5 and still possibly be along. And I would actually have a lot of confidence here. The reason I'm not saying it's a screaming buy is because I think it's a bounceable area. Is that I don't know that it makes a new high. I really think that Tesla's kind of stuck in this box. So if you were to, for lack of a better term, trade the edges of the box, this is the area where you would want to get long. I will say if you want to get long, I would probably go, out to June.
70 strikes. Is that what you pick?
75s.
75.
Yeah, 70s are probably fine. I would go with 75s because like 70s are probably okay because the box is up to just over 80. And you think about it this way, you want time value. If Uber's at 80, a 75, if Uber's at 80 in January, potentially February, those June strikes should be like $800, maybe $900 at the highs.
What are they right now trading at?
They're at 350, 360. So just slightly lower in this 58s. Those might be closer to 250.
How do you feel about this sentiment argument around Uber? Like, do you think
I think it's going to stay there, right? So I think it's what's kept it, it's what's pushed it down. But look at it's not new, right? So that's what did this. The same exact storyline did this right here. Same exact storyline. It didn't keep it down. And the second that Robotaxi wasn't like going to take them out of business, guess what happened? Boom. We did that. Yeah. And then, okay, well, Waymo's doing something. And then boom, we do that. So I think that this is the trajectory. And that's why I say it's not a screaming buy, but it's a tradable buy. I think, and even from an equity perspective, okay, that's like 35% on just stock. So it's a good buy, but it's not like I want to invest in this forever necessarily. It's more like, okay, you can pick it up, put it on your shopping list, grab it. You're probably going to get a decent return. I mean, look, 35% on stock in a few months is probably better than what you're going to get on a lot of things. So yeah, it's probably a buy. It's better than what most people's annual return is on their portfolios. So it's buyable dip.
Okay, last question, then we'll go to Google. Would you buy Tesla at 480 or Uber at 60 for the next 6 months, if that's your time frame?
Tesla.
All right.
Chris says robotaxis are in the headlines. Avoid Uber. Yeah. So like, I think I to Chris's point, like I think robotaxis have been in the headlines, and so like I think the headlines are going to get tired of talking about robotaxis for a bit, and then something else is going to happen. And so they're probably done being in the headlines right now. So it'll probably go back up in the next like couple months or month or so. But this is not one where I would expect to say, I can't tell you, hey, look, by the end of the year, Uber is going to be $80. Yeah. Like, I don't think that's enough time.
All right. Can we do Google?
It's long. I know. So 191. 191 is right here. So it's similar. I had I took this right here, this breakout. I took March 200 calls and I actually closed them right here because this day we were starting to close red, and I was like, I want to clean up a lot of my portfolio. I still have Boeing long, I have Amazon long, I have a lot of longs that are doing really good. Like portfolios are up, the swings are up, everything's doing good, and this is probably like my least favorite long term, but it's definitely one that for the back half of this year and potentially early next year has a lot of strength moving forward. So this is an all-time high breakout. 191.75 is that area that you want to see it, have it hold. So if we get even another red day, but this is still closing over 190s, I think you stay long. It can consolidate for a little bit though. So 200, the reason I closed 200, big psychological level, I feel like it's going to bang its head up against that a couple times, almost like Apple at 250. It's taken 1, 2, 3 shots at it. I should probably get long again tomorrow post FOMC, but Apple at 250, it takes a little bit, bangs its head 1, 2. It just went. Side note, Apple, great performing stock.
Well, let's save Apple. We'll talk in depth about Apple.
Okay.
But also, you think
I also closed my Apple. I also closed my Apple because I didn't have as much time. Apple options.
Do you see Google cracking the 220s? Like, where do you think this goes next 6 months?
Yeah, it would be in the 220s. But Google makes the moves on like, I think Google is the sentiment changed, right?
Lena Khan's out. Lena Khan's out, right? That's.
Yeah. Lena Khan's out. SEC stuff. So like, but the sentiment in terms of like quantum computing. So they finally launched something new that's like, okay, can we get behind them? And They're probably going to win the meta battle with the glasses, actually, because the Google Glass was the originals. And they're probably going to be the best ones out there.
Wait, you think Google's going to beat Meta for glasses? Really?
Well, if they can get it to market, I think their product might be better. I think there's I got a little shoulder tapping that might be better. At least they think so.
They should call the glasses the Googs.
The Googs. Yeah,
I agree.
Side note, it's a Red Bull today. It's not a Celsius. So there's also that.
You're cheating on even though Celsius is not having a horrible.
It's horrible.
It's better than 27.
I sold it. I took it. So I did my tax loss.
Okay, let's do Celsius.
It wasn't a tax loss, but I said 31. I sold it.
Why did you sell the drink you drink every day, bro? That is.
I'm not drinking it right now. I sold it, man. I told this is the same thing. I said if it's a lower high after a higher low, I'm out, right? And my whole community was like laughing at me because I sold it. I sold it right here at 30 because I was like I'm finally green. Or I might have even sold it right here. 31.50. I was like, I'm finally green on these puts. I'm getting the frick out of here. And it proceeded to go higher by like 50 cents. And now it's lower. So now who's laughing now? But anyways, yeah, it's all right. Like it could lock in a higher low, but this is one for me. Like if I want to get back into it, I'm going to wait my 30 days and it'll be next year. So this might be something like that where, people sell at the end of the year, have to wait their 30 days. And then it gets moving again. But this is a prime candidate for tax loss harvesting this year for sure.
Let's do Amazon.
Yeah, I feel like Amazon's the easiest play in the market, Chris.
Real quick, before you get into it, guys, please make sure to follow Jason on X if you have not. I'm putting his Twitter in the description right now. You can get access to all of his stuff, so please make sure to follow him right there. All right. Why do you think Amazon's the easiest play versus Google?
I mean, I would just be long because you don't have the same questionable issues with Google, right? Because Google, yes, quantum computing is good, but there's a lot of quantum stuff flying off the radars right now, like Rigetti, Qubit, or whatever it is. They're all going. But Amazon has it's a much easier for me longer term because this is that monthly, right? So monthly, we're going to 250, 260, right? And I think for the year, we're probably going to see the 350s, right? This is a monthly chart. This is a massive breakout. So I can be comfortably adding to Amazon on any big red day, 1500 day consolidation breakout. I don't know how many years that is. 5 years.
Yeah, 5 years.
This is 5 year, near 5 year consolidation break. It's a lot of the other ones are 2 year, and this is a mega cap. But anyways, that's just me. So I think this continues on into the 250s. I'm comfortably long 300 leaps. And whenever I get a chance, I'll nibble at some equity. But yeah, I think same thing, that 196 was a great pullback, and we're just in this consolidation up here. But again, even in this little grind higher, even inside this, it's still okay, higher highs and higher lows. Although I don't know, this may base out. We might get to 240. I think this setup right now is a bit choppy, but we probably see some wicks, quick pushes to the upsides into those 240s, potentially even into 255s. But they will not likely hold, because I would say that this is going to go like this for a minute and create this kind of setup. And I think eventually Q1 next year, we would be looking more towards, well, I'll just put it this way. I think 2027, we're talking about $300 support on Amazon. How's that? 2026. 2026, we're talking about Amazon $300 support.
How would you compare that to no buybacks, whereas Google's buying back a lot?
I mean, it's better. So buybacks, you have this thing about buybacks in my Apple, right? Like, I would, so for someone like Google, I would much rather, like, is that the best that they can do with their money? And that's your argument for Apple, I'm sure, right?
Yeah,
Is that
yeah,
the best?
that's fair.
Is that the best that they can do with their money? Amazon, I just like definitively, we talked about this the last couple of times, is that AWS is a kind of a given, right? But it's also potentially saturated, although they are developing new things within the AWS ecosystem and potential wild card of their own silicon. But the e-commerce business for Amazon is just, for my personal stories, like something it's kept me out of Amazon for a long time because I didn't want to own it. But now you actually will want to own Amazon for their e-commerce business, which is to me is a massive game changer.
Okay.
Yeah, just buy both for sure. And like the same thing, like I could have bought both when Amazon was 90, and here's me. And instead I ended up buying mostly Google, right? At 88. Most of it here. And so I still have a little bit of scar tissue, and this is just personal scar tissue at Google for buying it here. And I think I sold it in the 145s, all of it, because I was done with the failed what was AI launches. I was just so frustrated with the fumble after fumble after fumble. It was like fool me once, fool me twice, not happening. You're out. So they got booted from the paper port.
That's fair. It's a fair reason.
But I mean, yeah, the stock's doing good now.
Can we do MicroStrategy?
So MSTR does not go up when Bitcoin goes up, right?
Well, it went up a lot when Bitcoin didn't go up. So I guess now
because that's when it goes up. So right. Bitcoin's going up. I still don't think it's long. So last time I said it was like that 420 area. It's rough, right? So like you get here, is this right? So in the box, I'll say it's a constructive box, but this is your box, and it's in the box. So if you're going to trade the edges, to me it was this area right here at the 370s. Really. It should hold. It should hold. I think. Although now that they're in the NASDAQ, I don't know that that's a bullish thing or not. It's a differentiator for sure. But this day, wild intraday move. I didn't realize that this was like a midday pivot. So Bitcoin gap up, all-time high, grind. Who pulled the rug on MSTR on Monday? I don't know. Like, what was there? Do you guys know? Was there an event
on Monday? No, that was weird too, right? Yeah, I don't know
did
why.
Did they do something?
It went from 440 to 400. I have no idea why.
They're still spamming tickers. I mean, okay. Chris, did something happen to MSTR this day, Monday?
I mean, Bitcoin at all-time highs, but I think we had hedge funds come in and play their games with MSTR. I mean, there was no event. There was no fundamental thing.
Yeah, so this is the weird stuff, right? Bitcoin makes an all-time high. MSTR takes a duper, a big one. So it was a midday pivot. So that's weird. But this is why I would say if like you're going to be long MSTR, it would be also long MSTZ in some fashion. The two.
I mean, Saylor did dilute that day, but I don't know if that's.
Oh, did he?
Well, he hit. Yeah, he issued.
That's what it is then. Yeah, that's what it is then. So whenever he what do you mean by dilute? As in
he issued more shares and used the proceeds to then buy Bitcoin the next day.
Okay, so whenever that happens, this happens. So that must have been the press announcement, literally right there. So when that happens, you gotta give it a break because this is exactly what happens whenever he does that.
That could have been one of the reasons. There's probably a ton of reasons, but
I think that would probably be the only reason. Or like that. So that's a very like clean reason.
Yeah, that is definitely the best explanation. Because I was confused. I remember looking at the chart. I was like, Bitcoin's at 108. MSTR just fell like 11%. What's going on here?
Yeah, like midday.
Yes,
Because that's not even the end of that's not the beginning of the day. This is not pre-market. This is
dude. It was 450 on Sunday night.
This is lunch hour. This is the middle of the day lunch hour.
Yeah,
I don't know. So yeah, I think you keep your eyes on 370s. If you get there, and you really want to own it, maybe you sell some put spreads. I don't know.
Okay, can we do HIMS?
HIMS?
They got upgraded to 40 by Morgan Stanley.
What's up with all the XRP questions? Are you an expert?
No, Steve has XRP brainwashed
No,
the audience.
it's a no. You put me on with Steve, and you have him explain to me.
Oh, I would love for you and Steve to debate this stupid XRP thing. I would love that.
You guys, do me a favor. Google. Next time you're on with Steve, then I don't know Steve, so Google Amit. Are you listening?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Go to the Google,
Okay,
and ask the Google, what is the difference between XRP and Ripple? And then you have someone explain to me how XRP, the token, is bullish.
Well, Steve thinks that Ripple is the holding company for XRP. That's the difference.
Well, definitively, he is wrong. Because
We need to have a little debate, bro. We need to do this because he's
like,
gung-ho on XRP.
He is wrong. It's never been. But first of all, Ripple gave away 80% of their XRP tokens to their employees, like at incept, like out of the gate, long ago, and held 20%. And it's just a native token. But now that they have this Ripple USD, it's like, okay, what even is the purpose? Because it's not reflective of. Anyways, sorry.
The problem is Steve bought his coins at like 20 cents, and he's not buying anymore. So he's thinking, he legit, bro. We laugh about it. He thinks of it as a lotto ticket. Okay, like he thinks it's going to go to. Like,
so as long as people don't sell it, it's going higher, right? It's like Doge.
That's exactly how
it's like Doge. It's Doge. So it can go higher. I'm not saying
he has not bought a single coin in years, bro. He doesn't actually, in my opinion, he doesn't believe in it. He's just happy he got in at 20.
Okay, all right. So anyway, okay. I was just saying, just
funny.
Clear, XRP is not Ripple. It doesn't. It's not. I've worked with Ripple, the company. Anyways, you go find someone that you know that works at Ripple, the company. Ask them if XRP is tied to the company. They will tell you, like out of the gate now. Okay. So, what are we doing? HIMS. So HIMS is it. So I'm fat, right? And I'm thinking like I want to do these GLP-1s things. And I was looking at Row, and I was like, okay, so there are, I don't know. I think like HIMS, Row. Did you know that Weight Watchers has this like thing where you can do GLP-1s for like $80 a month or something?
I did not know that. I'm
a 10. I appreciate that, Victor. No, I'm heavy, right? I'm heavy, so I need it.
Well, hold on. Before we go further, my first question is it a physical thing where you can't work out and diet and stuff, like, or that just hasn't worked in the past? And you're
what? Oh no, I'm stuck in here in front. I'm like, you're bored. Like every job I've had, it's like I'm less and less active. I mean, I've been ripped before. You've seen my Grindr profile, right?
Yeah, people are gonna believe that's real, bro. That's like, I
did not
see his Grindr profile, bro. Goodness.
I literally sent you. Anyways.
Anyway, dude, they're gonna run with this now. They're gonna run with it. But okay, so you're looking at alternative, because so you're not, you're home all day. You kind of want something easier to lose weight. So you're looking at multiple categories. So
I mean, like a booster, right? That would be good just to get things started, because it's so hard. Like if you've been fit, like ripped before, and I say that, okay, so before macro calendar, FDA, trizepatide. Yeah.
This is the thing with HIMS, dude. They have all these decisions that they rely on, and it definitely makes it volatile.
So like I was looking at the charts, like look at Lilly for a second. Let's look at Lilly. And it's not looking great, right? And then I'm over here thinking like, oh, okay, well, maybe I'll want to get on these GLP-1s or something. And I'm like, but you know, in my mind, I kept thinking, oh, it's like $1,000 a month or something, like cool, but like, what do I really want to? And then I pull up this stuff. I'm like, oh no, it's like $100
for Lilly, for Eli Lilly's drugs.
No, for row.co, right?
Okay.
Which is using Lilly Direct basically. And then they're outsourcing to like Weight Watchers or like Hims and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, okay. So the prices are coming down, which is why I'm seeing like a Lilly like this, but it makes the availability to people a lot wider. So that would be into the distribution channel, right? That would still make the same amount that they would any other day because that was determined by Lilly. So I think it's constructive for Hims is where I was going with that. And it's holding this like $30 kind of area. So I do think it's constructive, like for sure. This is all-time highs.
You're not afraid of the competition?
No, right? Because I think that it's so not saturated. I think that people still like, look, I just realized that like, hey, it's not $1,000 a month anymore. So if I didn't know, maybe somebody sends me some trizepatide in my stocking. Sorry. But anyways, as long as this is holding, it's consolidating. So I think it's sideways, maybe a little bit lower, but it's close to 30. As long as we're holding 30s, I'm actually interested in this. And that made me think about what was it? Weight Watchers? Oh yeah, it's still,
dude, Chris had a monster trade on this in 2023. But
Chris, are we doing?
No, Chris is totally out of this one. I know.
Oh, what is he back in? Because I'm telling you, I got this. I don't even know. Jessica sent me. Sorry, Jessica's the lady. Okay, I'm gonna text you this. I don't know if you can. How do I text you?
You just send a text.
Mitt. I had to save it first.
Oh well, Steve's on the phone right now, dude. Steve's calling. Right. Guys, I'm not gonna pick up because we gotta do Technical Tuesday. We're not gonna have a.
I love you, Steve. By the way,
I love you, Steve. What if Steve heard this and he was like, "I gotta fucking talk to Jason right now"?
He probably did, but they're not the same. Just ask the Google.
Yeah, this is cheap. $49 is cheap.
$49 starter, and then $84 a month for Weight Watchers. Oh, there you go. Yeah, my camera doesn't do that. That's what GLP-1s. I'm like, what? Crazy.
Okay, hold on. Steve said I'm calling in. We have breaking news. Okay, let's pick it up, dude. I don't know.
Wait, no, give him a link. Send him. We gotta get live. Or does he do live?
No, he's probably not gonna.
Right.
Steve, how are you?
I'm good, Steve. I'm live with Jason right now. I'm live with two
What's
people.
up, Steve?
What's going on, guys? So real quick, I just wanted to inform you of something.
Okay.
Your favorite company, Apple, just finished at all-time highs.
You know, this sucks because Steve,
Steve's on my side right now.
Do you know Jason by any chance, Steve?
I do not.
Okay, so Jason does a Technical Tuesday with me every Tuesday, and this is the first time you guys are talking. But this guy's been an Apple fan for like 5 months, and I've been an Apple fan.
What do you mean 5 months?
For a long time.
He's obviously a very intelligent individual.
He is. So both of you basically get to brag about Apple. So
I'm not bragging. I'm just informing you that
it's
a
reporting
company that supposedly can't innovate just finished at all-time
Steve,
highs.
okay, but you and Jason will both admit this is not because of Vision Pro or Apple Intelligence. This is because of passive index funds, and that's all it is. That's okay to admit.
No.
What do you mean you disagree? There is no reason why Apple is up right now.
You're along the consumer of the Mag 7s. That's the most consumer focused, right? We're all getting new AI phones this month, including you, Amit.
I'm not getting new AI phones. I mean, this thing is stupid, dude. Like this 253. Really, Steve? You think it's worth $4 trillion? Like,
I think it's worth more.
Oh, of course you do. Of course, because when it's going up, why not? Let's just say it's worth.
No. But in all seriousness, just think about this. They have a install base of 2 to 3 billion, not million,
These
billion
arguments are
devices.
so old. Like they're you're not saying anything no one the market doesn't know.
They're the most profitable company in the market. They're
Bingo.
going to continue to increase their revenue from services, which is going to be a $100 billion run rate business in 2025. They are buying back $80 to $100 billion worth of shares a year, and they are trading at a conservative valuation of 34 times this year's earnings. And when you look forward, they're trading at 27 times 2026 earnings.
You think 27 times is cheap when it's not?
Oh, hold on a second. If
We were
27
just
times
talking about wanting to do
you're
AMD at like 90s.
But I'm not saying AMD is a buy. But Google's at 18 times and they're actually growing. Apple's growing 0%. So
how about Walmart?
You're talking about revenue.
you're trying to compare it to all these names, dude. I get it. Like
No, but Walmart trades at 31 times 2026 earnings.
I'm not saying Walmart's cheap either. I'm just saying let's be honest with the audience that Apple is up because the market's melting up, not because fund managers are waking up and saying, I need to buy Apple at a 34 times PE. That's not
Costco
happening.
trades at 45 times earnings.
Well, you're comparing it to names that I'm not talking about. I'm saying Apple's
I'm just comparing it to names that are traditionally value.
Apple is up because the market's up.
No.
Apple is up because they're driving more earnings from their shares.
No, that's
You were about to say no, they're not.
because no. The reason they're not is because they're buying back the shares, and that's why they're driving more
No,
earnings.
dude, it's
not because the
earnings.
actual
It's
earnings are
profit.
increasing.
Profit dollars. Profit
Buy back
dollars.
shares, the earnings actually do increase.
Exactly. When they buy back, the EPS goes up. That's how they're driving earnings. They're not
So they're still
actually.
driving earnings.
I agree. I mean, like they're still driving earnings, but that doesn't mean it's a
Okay, how about
meaningful way to drive earnings.
How about this? I got 2 points for you. First, we can agree that the Fed is most likely going to cut tomorrow, correct?
Yes.
Fed is probably going to cut a couple
Look at
of
that
times.
Apple chart.
Right?
Right? Come on.
Yes, Steve.
Okay, so Apple spent this year, let's see, how much did they spend? Just give me one moment. They're deferred, so they actually didn't spend anything, but they have a large amount of debt on the balance sheet to the tune of $85.7 billion in long-term debt. They're going to be able to refinance, even though they don't need to. For some reason, they keep that on the balance sheet. They're going to be able to refinance at lower rates. And when corporate taxes come down, they're going to be spending billions less, which drops to the bottom line.
Look, Steve, I'm not buying Apple, and you're not buying Apple right now. So let's
I own Apple.
no. Let's cut the bullshit. You're not buying Apple at 253
I don't need to buy it. I own it.
because obviously you think it's overvalued.
That's not true.
No.
That is true, bro.
I might reload Apple.
Jason, so Jason
279.
actually bought Apple in 220. He bought options, and so like at least I respect him because he put his money where his mouth is. You would not buy Apple at 250 because you know that's a horrible deal.
Would you like me to buy Apple?
I buy 20 shares of Apple tomorrow and send me the screenshot.
The market's still open. He can buy after hours.
Or you could buy after hours. Yeah, go to Schwab right now. Get some Apple.
Nah, I don't.
Come on, bro. Come on. Like we all know Apple at 250s. I'd rather buy Tesla at 500 than Apple at 250.
No, Apple at 250, I think it's still going higher right now.
It probably does. Look,
Right now. So like this probably not like look, we're going to be okay, 2025, we're going to be talking about Apple 275 support anyways, like somewhere during that year. So if you're talking about like we're going to be talking about knocking out 300 at a certain point and bouncing between 300 275.
But my point is it will do that and that's fine. I'm not arguing the stock won't go up. That's never been my argument all year. My argument
my point is if you bought it at 250 and I'm saying, you know, hey,
I get it. And that's fair. And again, my disagreement is not with the stock going up. I always thought like, yeah, the stock will go up because it'll be pushed up, but not that they are deserving of the stock going up through their actual earnings and revenue growth. That's been my argument all year. And I think I've been right about that. I don't think anyone could argue Apple's at a great valuation.
No. I think you're wrong about that because the comps on Apple, if you were talking about the Apple a year or two ago, right? Maybe, but because they were having that down year 2023, and in
2024 has been a down year too. What do you mean?
2024 early, right? Since then, I think it was August or June or August, we turned the corner at 165. Everything from here we're going to be having positive comps. Like the comps that Apple's reported against are going to be easy comps. Same with Tesla, right? So, I mean, we're going higher, man. Love you though.
No, we probably are going higher. Steve, I don't want to start a debate right now, but Jason thinks XRP is full of shit. I just putting that out there.
I mean, you're trying to start.
But he basically said XRP and Ripple is stupid, and anyone in this name doesn't know what they're talking about. So,
well, we can.
I said you ask the Google what the difference is between XRP and Ripple, and then we can have a discussion.
Okay, so Ripple is the actual company. XRP is the currency on.
No. XRP is the native token. It's not the currency.
Native token is the currency. Same thing.
It's not the currency because Ripple just announced that they have their own USD.
There's new stable coin today. Yes.
Yeah.
So it's not the currency.
It's the same thing. It's a vehicle.
No, it's not the same thing.
Transporting cross-border payments.
It can be used on the Ripple network, and it was designed as the native currency of the Ripple network. But Ripple itself gave 80% of the tokens away years and years and years ago to all their employees and held 20%, but haven't really done anything with it.
Have you looked into how many different partnerships they have with financial institutions?
Oh yeah, you're referring to Ripple the company. I love Ripple the company. I think it's great. Yeah. But XRP the token.
I hope they IPO next year once it's launched.
Yeah. But I think XRP and by the way, I'm a big blockchain believer, and I've been since 2000s. But I just there's a common mistake of like people with XRP and Ripple having an association when they're not really associated. There's a loose association from the inception, but it's not a derivative of XRP is not a derivative of Ripple's company value.
Well, it's not a derivative of the value, but that doesn't change the fact that it is going to be the vehicle for cross-border payments. So
well, the only thing that changed that was them issuing a stable coin.
No, that's simply not true. This is being able to happen.
I love you, Steve.
XRP's throughput is 1,500 transactions per second with the same ability to scale to the same throughput as Visa.
I think you need to come on the show one day, Steve, and we'll have a full debate.
That's throughput, but Visa can transact in dollars and yen or whatever. That doesn't mean they're only going to transact in one currency. Throughputs. What's Solana's?
They may transact in multiple. All I'm saying is that it is a way more efficient way for cross-border payments than Bitcoin, which was never set up for utility. XRP's main focus is utility.
That's okay. So that's not inaccurate. But Bitcoin was never. No, I agree there. But Solana, of all the blockchains, has the highest throughput, as I know
Solana
it. Right
has a great product also.
It was Solana, Sui, Avalanche. Avalanche fastest blockchain, right? But not the most throughput. But again, that's for throughput. That's why we see so much development on Solana. Throughput is huge. It's the most, and it's the easiest to work on. But I mean, Ripple as a private company, I like, right, and they're making great strides. But I don't know that XRP is the best way to invest in Ripple, or an investment in Ripple in general.
I don't think XRP is an investment in Ripple.
Okay. Well,
separate things.
All right. So we'll continue this conversation. We got to finish our technical Tuesday. But first of all, it doesn't matter because XRP is up 300% and you're up like 10x. So
that's also true.
That's also true. That's all that really matters.
Look, I could care less if XRP doesn't work out. I just think that at the end of the day, it is set up for utility, unlike Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a store of value because people think it's a store of value. It is the most idiotic way to transact money. XRP solves a cross-border payment problem. Same with other cryptocurrencies. There is definitely going to be more than one winner in the space. Right now, Ripple is ahead with the amount of partnerships they have with financial institutions. They have one of the bravest people at the helm forging those relationships. In a new administration that is crypto-friendly, there will likely be several winners. And from a utility aspect, XRP has a lot of promise, along with other coins. I think it's going to do really well. Time will tell. We'll see.
All right. I will see you tomorrow, Steve, on our podcast. I'm going to send the link to everybody at the end of this.
Nice meeting you, Steve.
All right, you too. And Amit's wrong on Apple.
Amit's wrong on Apple. Correct. You're right.
Yes.
All right. Talk to you later.
Later.
I told you, dude. He was like, he was like, I could care less if XRP goes to 0. It's because he doesn't give a shit. He just loves his like lotto ticket. That's why.
I think I got a W though. Anyways,
there's just one moment where there's like 20 seconds of silence, and like I was like, all right, you got it.
But I am also saying though, it doesn't mean it's gonna get rugged tomorrow.
Yeah, they can still keep going up. It's just a fun debate around the concept of it. All right, so it's 6 o'clock. I've kept you here for 2 hours.
One of you guys said Biogen, and another one, right, was a super chat. I lost it. You're gonna have to pull it up again, but we should hit them. Biogen.
Okay, so let's do the. How long can you stay? Like 20 more minutes? 15?
Yeah, I mean, I'm already missing a bunch of calls for you, dude.
Okay,
but
so let's try to do a rapid fire
time of the week, right? I'd rather do this than what was it? Tech Talk Thursdays.
Oh yeah, that's okay. So let's do like 15 more tickers rapid fire so I can get you out of here in like 20 minutes max.
Square's going higher. I like Square, right? Biogen, I'm cautious, right? So this Biogen is, I mean, I don't. These are hard, right? These are definitely hard. It doesn't look good. You're already down. You could potentially use this as it's at an interesting spot, but you might be able to harvest some losses. What was the other one on the request?
CRSP.
Oh, CRISPR. It's a big Kathy name. CRISPR. It's a very speculative space. Completely sideways. This specifically is a lot about rates, right? So CRISPR and a lot of these biotechs in general, just so excuse me. Whoa. So you know, our rate plays for tomorrow. So we may see a little bit of this pullback here. I think IWM goes in the same bucket. So IWM, side note, 20% XBI, 30% KRE. You look at those two things; they're very down in the dumps right now. Tomorrow's FOMC and the rhetoric around the next and further rate cuts or pace of rates, I think matters significantly. Right here, right now, are probably dip buys for some of these speculative things like a CRISPR, but specifically if you want to do broad swath in the IWM area. I like this right here as a breakout and pullback. I'm interested.
Ooh, we are dumping after hours. We're seeing some weekend guys. S&P is down 20 bips. Apple's down 0.5%. Nvidia's down. What the fuck's going on? We're dumping after hours.
I don't know, but we could. This is super. Unless there's a headline or something.
Yeah,
nobody.
Everyone sees that, right? We're seeing some red. Is there a headline? Yeah. I don't know. Rate cut predictions are still the same.
Nobody reported.
Robinhood's down 0.12%. Tesla's down 1%. Everything's going down. Everything.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Right.
It's the aliens, bro.
No,
they messed up my mic in the morning, and now they're messing up the market.
No, I think it's fine because tomorrow's setup to me was like if we have a big red nasty gap down open, I think that would be the inverse of the exhaustion that you're normally seeing, especially for you Palantir fans, where we might have a deep red open only to start creeping green really quick. So tomorrow, a red open, I actually think is a potentially good setup to get long, if that makes I do.
Yeah. Okay, so Jason, let's do rapid fire, a minute per ticker, and then we'll get through all them. So let's do some quick ones. Square, yeah, let's start with Square.
Yeah, so Square 93.39 was that major pivot. Look, we're above. You might have had a scare. I mean, you shouldn't be red on this guy. This is okay. 94s. If you use the post markets, these are still closing above. I think still under the radar. Over 93, I'm happy. I see this new base of people kind of building right in here. So right here, this looks constructive to me. Should be long anywhere in this area is ideal. But for now, this looks like a higher high, and but it's got to breathe. So give it a probably 2 weeks, and then we'll see where we are on this one.
Okay, end phase.
falling knife opportunity. Well, so that's not in phase. I think the opportunity was over. So it's $60 here. So $60 was like, wait, because it was just so red. You had that like small percentage day, sell some puts was the first thing. So whenever you do this, like initially the first move is usually like sell some puts. Then you want to zoom out and look left, right? And you want to find the next kind of area of interest. And that's right in here. So zoom out, look left, draw it across. This is not the greatest look. So to me, this is probably going to come down. And this is going to come down somewhere into this $65 area. Now, so this last push over 66 was good, right? That's what we're going to call our break of structure. Now you wait and see, can it make a higher low? Because that would be ideal. And a higher low is going to look anything like in the 65. If you start to base out like that, I'd sell some more puts. And I'd potentially wait for a little bit to see if it can do something. But that's what a bearish to bullish reversal by definition would look like. You want to see this lock in a higher low after breaking higher highs. So the problem is that if this does something like this, you need to get out of Dodge, because that's not good.
Okay, Verizon.
Which one?
Verizon.
Did you say Verizon?
Yeah, VZ.
What?
We don't do it often, but any thoughts on this
Why
one?
are we doing this one?
Well, someone asked, so.
Okay.
I mean, this one doesn't move too much, but any thoughts on it?
No thought. This is just like the what? I mean, can you just pick a more boring stock for me? Like, I'm having a hard time here.
Okay, we'll move on.
So like dividend play, you can own it. Just own it and sell lots of covered calls and cash secured puts.
You sound like Michael Saylor, bro. Today we watched the clip and he said, if you buy dividend stocks, you're stupid. You kind of sound like
that. Right. So 35s are your low end. And it's right in the middle here. So like you'd want to see it base over 40. I couldn't think of a reason why this would need to go higher.
No, you're right. It's just at this point, you're collecting for the dividend. Okay, can we do PayPal?
So PayPal, I mean, we'll see. So like with that small consolidation break, it's slowly making higher highs, but like it's a little exhausted. This is really weird price action. Or I don't know if you're watching like these candles like this. This is like bipolar, right? Like it's having a seizure right now. So it's probably just got to like figure out like it's just not used to being an uptrend, but it's going up right now, and so it'll figure it out. And it's just sideways for right now. I think it's gonna continue to go sideways.
Okay.
$90, 90 down to 88, right, would be where you want this to hold, right in here. But it's there's a battle happening when you see these kind of crazy like gap down, gapped up. But net, this is that box I just drew. And as long as it's holding over 90, it's constructive.
Okay. CrowdStrike.
So 390 is, I think we're pretty peaked. I think people are getting into like, where do you want to be 2025 kind of scenario, right? And so like, if you sold your CrowdStrike and now you're back here, it's like, do you want to get back in? I think they could, but I think this is mostly done, right? Right here is what we call like fair value from the absolute highs. So I think this needs to take I think this is done for the rest of the year. But potential winner next year if it can breach through 400s, right? So 375, you'd want to see, so 75s to 120s, you'd want to see this area hold right in here, 370s. So as long as 370 is holding, I think eventually you make it through those 400s. And then 2025 is a different one. I'd almost prefer Zscaler from a value perspective in that same area. Not almost. I think I would from a catch up trade. but
Okay.
we'll see.
Archer.
Hey, dude, do they make drones?
They make eVTOLs. They don't make drones per se.
What is that?
Flying vertical takeoff jets that are electric. So like a car.
I thought that was a different company. Yeah, no, I got it.
RKLB.
Like helicopters.
Yeah, but electric and not as noisy and
electric.
They announced that they had defense part of their division of their company today. So they're getting into the
who's going to tackle the drone situation?
Dude, I'm in Jersey. I don't fucking know. Someone better do it though, because we lost power yesterday, bro, for a couple hours. We never lose power.
Oh, dude, another drunk driver ran into a power pole by my place just 2 days ago, and we were in and out for days. But yeah, so I think it's still stuck, right? It's not. It's stuck in this box. I don't know enough about this. I'm really like the drone stuff is all over the place. I think that's an interesting space, but if they're not drones, it's not that interesting. So I think this is like Rocket Lab, right? Like something has happened here, but is this a real story? I just don't know, and I don't personally have the bandwidth to get through that. But this looks like a good win already, and I would be likely taking some profits just in case we do get a pullback, but staying net long.
Okay, Clean Spark.
No, they did another offering, but they did it the wrong way, didn't they?
Yeah.
So
they did a convertible note, but they're not buying Bitcoin with convertible note.
Yeah, like that's. I mean,
the amount of people that commented under that post
at the money offer that takes them off the plate completely. By the way, for being investable, like that's a no, right? So like that's they're getting coal. You give them coal for Christmas.
There are people still defending the name when I posted about them. They're like, "Well, you don't get it." I'm like, I'm not sure what there is to get. Bitcoin's at 108,000. Clean Spark's at 12. Bitcoin was at 30,000. Clean Spark was at 12.
No. It's about the convertible note.
Well, no, and that they're not doing anything with their money other than buying back their shares.
When you came over to our show and we said, what are the three things that we need to see out of our investments, right? We need to see them like, what was it? What was the word they used? Where's my notes?
Oh yeah. It was path to profitability on valuation, good leadership.
Is the company being fiscally responsible?
Yeah.
So I think that checks the box of no, the company's not being fiscally responsible. If they're just taking a convertible note, not even all-time highs, to do what with? Not buy Bitcoin, which is what you should have done if you were going to do something.
Yeah.
It's not fiscally responsible.
Okay, can we do Soundhound?
Yeah, Sound. This is like proxy AI shenanigans. What was this one again? What do they do?
Voice AI. NVIDIA invested in them. They got to deal with
AI.
Yeah, they got to deal with a taco restaurant the other day.
Del Taco?
I don't know what restaurant. It wasn't Taco Bell, but
voice AI. Oh, so like the stuff that McDonald's fired IBM for?
I think.
So that's interesting stuff.
The chart's incredible.
I thought it was like Shazam. And I'm like, no, dude, I don't want Shazam.
Yeah, B2B voice AI
is what I don't know. Yeah. B2B voice AI can be interesting, but the expend from a business perspective, it's an expense for sure, and you need the infrastructure and what kind of companies are going to buy. So I'm going through my external processing. It's speculative. It's speculative for sure. You need to see some real contracts. You're going to have to follow this one like a hawk and see those contracts come in for this to continue the trajectory.
Do you think the chart needs a breather, or you think it?
No, I don't. I think that if look, I don't. It's all-time highs. It's going to tell you right now, and it's going to be like the rest of them, $18, right? So you don't want to see $18 fail in strength, because that is that prior all-time high. It looks not like the others. It does not look as strong as the others, but that could all change tomorrow. So, and with one contract. So as long as the contracts are coming in and the company is executing, I think it stays a speculative long. If the company's executing and the contracts are coming in.
Okay. Honest, HNST.
HNST.
Yeah. Ecom, Jessica Alba company.
Jessica Alba.
Biodegradable diapers.
This is dangerous look. I don't like the look of this.
Why?
So here's the best pivot, double top right at the highs. This looks short, dude. And here's your last $7 pivot. I don't just got all great, but I this is rough. So I think this comes to 6 at least, and probably whatever this has got to be an earnings thing.
This was earnings. Yeah. It was good.
So something had to have changed fundamentally in the story of this company, which I'm not going to be able to be familiar with. But I think this pulls back a little bit and sits around 6s, and takes a breather. But that $7. So unless tomorrow it's over $7, but you want to see this closing over this hump right here, the 750 level. That's what you want to see. So for now, it looks like it's closing below. Tomorrow could change all of that. And this could be like wick you out kind of moment, or even something like this. But if it gets back up over, I think you're fine. But that's what you have to see. Otherwise, this is teetering on the edge. And without knowing what's going on here, that's just what the technicals say. So you'd stop at 685, no lower.
Okay. Baba.
China names across the board actually today looked good, really good. So all the way back again, I think you buy the rumor, sell the news, right? So we clearly sold. Okay, buy the rumor, sell the news, but sell the news before the news. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So buy the rumor, sell the news. The rumor is not rumored yet, so you buy because we just sold the news. And the day before, so remember this day, this is like 2 days before their big meeting. Get out. Sell the news before the news, because the market is so fast on this one that it sold the news before the news even came out. And then the news was still a sell the news event. And now you're back into rumor stage. So this is unfortunate. It's lower highs still, but it's not making new lows. I would still say that the lows are probably in, but you want to be very opportunistic or lots of time. One of the two.
Okay, we're gonna do a couple more, guys. Then I gotta let Jason get out of here. One of the Nubank.
CVS being an insurance company. No, CVS going to 0 with Walgreens.
CVS is not in the best situation. Correct. Nubank.
It's going to 0. MU. CVS. Yeah, look at the other insurance companies. What is it? Cigna. Someone was asking me, what is it? CI. Someone's asking me to look at Cigna the other day. Like, this insurance is not looking good right now. Maybe you buy it and put it away. UNH, buy it in the IRA. Fine. Put it away. Don't look at it in a year. Sorry. What was the, don't look at it all of 2025. What was the ticker of it?
Nubank, NU.
Oh, this is like, South
Brazil, Latin American bank.
Yeah, not my wheelhouse. So I shouldn't really, but technicals are fine. Fundamentals I can't speak to because again, not my wheelhouse. But this looks like this is it, right? So this looks like where you start a position and potentially add as close to 10 as you can. I
agree. I think the growth
That's what this looks like. I don't know. I know of it, but technically speaking, this 1150 area, this is like me buying Grav at 520.
Yeah. Yep. I agree.
You get a toe in the water with a starter, if you're interested in it, to monitor. And what you really want to see is you want to see this 1250 break and hold with strength, right? And then we're out of the woods. But here is your box. 1250 is what you have to get over. But we can see clearly a lot of buyers stepping in here. This looks like earnings. So the reason I said as close to 10 as you can, I think this is like your kind of like last area. I don't want it under 8, but I think you can stick a toe in, because this is 10 right here. So I would say this is your area to be a dip buyer in here. But I would not buy it below 1035, because if it does really lose that, then it looks like you're going to 8s and you might be bag holding for a very long time, which I wouldn't know that you want to put that away. I don't know enough about it to say I could confidently put that much opportunity behind.
Okay.
Something.
Can we do Nike
Peep. Oh, Nike reporting soon.
tomorrow?
I feel like this is it.
Thursday.
So I feel like this is the earnings that's got to be. So it could go one way or the other. I don't know. I did buy Nike. I'm long Nike. I'm hopeful. I'm not full position. But this is second quarter or first quarter. So this is where like, okay, it's turnaround time for the new CEO. Let's hear your plans. Let's see what you got to do. It looks constructive. We got the dip buy. I really need when do they have earnings? This is trading events, earnings. Okay. So earnings are Thursday. So sideways price action now. I mean, if you get any little pops, that's fine. I don't think they hold because they're ahead of earnings. This is a big earning. So this was the sink. Throw the sink in. We could potentially have another one. But ideally, this is where we kind of base out and we hear the new guy's plan. And then you decide as an investor whether or not you want to get behind them. So I think this is a critical turning point. Doesn't mean that the lows are in. Because just because you have a new CEO doesn't mean it's ready to roll. Sometimes things just continue to go lower, and it takes years for that turnaround stuff to go down.
Okay, Airbnb.
Well, damn it, Amit. What? This is going
Similar to Verizon, right?
Yeah, it is like definitive sideways. I don't want to diddle in the middle is the term. So you would be diddling definitively in the middle. You went by the edges, 118s to 150s. That's your box. Diddle in the middle, right here.
All right, last three, and then we got to let him go. Etsy.
Where are you? How are you picking this?
Dude, I'm just looking at the chat. We see they're in the chat.
Where? So Etsy was removed from what index? NASDAQ?
No, I think
not too long ago.
S&P.
Not recently, but like the one before. Sometimes that's a good thing. So SMCI getting pulled from NASDAQ, by the way, could be a good thing too. We never know. At least that looming of like, are you going to get removed is you don't have to worry about that anymore. I would rather Zoom over Etsy, or maybe even Pinterest over Etsy. I don't know. It looks constructive, but like the thing is, do you really believe in the arts and crafts revolution? Amit, that's a question for you. Do you believe in the arts and crafts revolution? I think that's what you need to be bullish on Etsy.
Yeah, and I don't think too many of us believe in that. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's move on from this one.
Yeah, there's a question.
Let's do Melly. Can we do that? Mercado Libre. That's a better one.
I mean, great stock, but so this, I think, yeah. So this is what we looked at last time. I think this is from a month ago, or 3 weeks ago. Yeah, early December.
Yeah.
We looked at this as all-time high breakouts. I think this happens. But the way this happens is you get this little pullback. Now, where does that pull back to? It's right here. So it's in here to here, right there. That's a little deep. I wouldn't go that deep. I think it's any minute you start looking for this. So here, let me take this out. Sorry, this might actually look like a legit one for a second. And legit as in like investment, right? Like you just own this thing, by the way, because it's a good company and a good stock. Okay, so this is going to line me up. I want to get a couple points of confluence. That last wick might have been it. Wow. At 1750s. I was close to 1750, down to 16 as you can. So this is your box that you want to be really interested in picking it up if you don't already own it. If you do already own it, or if you just stay long. This is going to report February. So sometime between now and next year. Yeah, this looks good. What you don't want to see is you don't want to see a big failure around 1550. That's not going to be fun. That would kind of invalidate this situation. But this is a pullback to potentially go higher. Pullback to test this support, this prior resistance, to potentially go higher. So this is that springboard coming in hot that you want to see. Put that on your shopping list.
Can we do Sirius XM, SI, RI, Siri? Even though this one, I don't know, dude, because
he sold it all.
No,
he sold it.
But no, Buffett didn't sell it. They bought it.
No, he sold it the last K1, right?
No. They have a ton of this. They have a holding company that owns more of this. They're deep in this name.
I thought they sold a bunch.
No, they might have sold Siri itself, but they have a ton of Sirius XM. There's like a bunch of tickers.
Well, isn't that what we're looking at, Siri?
Liberty Media is the one they have a ton of.
Right.
But yeah, the point is if Liberty Media gets acquired, Sirius goes up. So that's what I'm saying.
Oh, is it? I mean, it's a spec. Do you have the time horizon of Buffett? I don't know. I get frustrated with Oxy.
I have no idea what he's doing with Siri, but he's been buying it for like a year and a half. No clue.
Yeah, I mean that was my point. I was like, he's been buying Oxy for about the same for like a year and a half too.
Yeah.
If you have that kind of time horizon, go for it.
Does the chart look bullish to you at all for Siri?
No.
Or no?
No. This is a news one, right? So like, it's going to be heavy news flow. It looks more bullish at like what? It doesn't look bullish.
Okay, that's fine.
That looks great. Yeah, it doesn't look bullish. So like AMD, you have to see like a new high put in, and without knowing like, hey, what's going on internally with the deals. This is interesting level. I feel like this was a penny. Oh, they must have done reverse splits and stuff. But you should probably see this area get retested, which is like 1850s. This fails.
Okay, last two. Where is the ticker right here? ELF.
Oh yeah, ELF. I bought some ELF. It was like 110. Yeah, so I think we were looking at this last, like one of our last ones way long ago, and it looked interesting, 105 to 110. But I sold it because that's it. This is the target, right? So now you need to come back in and you need to confirm a higher low, which could be anywhere in here, but you're not in an active breakout. You're just in the box, right? So the box is to 140, right, where they sold before. This is like Uber, right? Like it's like you bought Uber at 60, you got to make sure that you sell it at 80 because you don't know what's going to happen. And this looks like it's going to pull back a little bit. The midline, center line is going to be right into the 120s low, or 120s to high teens, potentially for a higher low. But that's what you'd have to see. You'd have to see the same people that bought down here actually move up and buy a little bit higher to be constructive on this. So it's going to put you in the like high teens.
Okay. And the last one that we are going to be looking at today is
Bring back Tech Thursdays. I
what'd you
think
say?
Tech Thursdays were gone.
Yeah,
Technical Thursday or Tech Talk
we did
Thursdays.
we did end phase already.
RCAT is the drones, right?
Yeah, that's they got hit yesterday.
Did they had earnings? So they run up into earnings. Yeah, so there's not doing that. Okta, no, it's a small TAM. I think you're in the box still. Small TAM, you might go up, but like that $90 is probably your max. Okay, hello.
Snowflake, you want to do that one?
185 was it. I think it's still investment phase to me, right? I didn't hear any change in, so our last tech talk, there was a lot of bullish sentiment on Snowflake up here. And I'm like, I don't think that anything changed fundamentally for me to make this an investment. So like, if your thesis of like not being long Snowflake is the leadership, that story has not changed. And that I think is going to be like it's a problem for this stock. Technology is great. Valuation is meh. So I think it goes sideways until a new catalyst with the base around 150. I don't think this breaks out over 250s. But something has to change for sure. They did good, but it's not like it was. They need to do better still. Still need to do better. Snow is shit fundamentally. No, the product's good. It's a good product for the commercial sector.
Okay, how about we end it out actually with Netflix?
Oh, I like Netflix.
That one's doing good.
When Squid Games 2?
December 26th.
All right, so that's when we're gonna moon, right?
I would hope so.
This is our Santa Claus rally bet. Netflix. This looks okay. It's consolidating. It's got to breathe. So a lot of the market looks like this. We got a good move. So from here to here, this kind of like consolidation, I think takes us. I think this is 120s by next year's. But like I need to see. It's in this like one. This isn't my line. It's not that one. So that one's done.
Are you still long this name or no?
Yeah.
Oh,
What do you mean? Why would I not be? Is there
just
something
asking,
wrong,
bro? Just
Did
asking.
something happen that I didn't know? Did I miss something? I could have missed something. You never know. I'm just asking, bro.
I barely watch any shows. Everyone knows. By the way, have you seen The Terminator?
No, I'm rewatching Lost. Right
everyone
now.
was giving me shit about not watching this movie.
Which Terminator?
Whatever stupid Terminator movie that's out there.
I mean, look, I've seen the Terminator. I've seen all the Terminators, but do I remember them? Dude, I don't remember them.
Then it doesn't count. That means you didn't watch it. So
yeah, that's why I said not really.
That's what I'm saying. I don't watch movies, but Squid Game 2, is December 26th a Saturday? Can I binge it the whole day? It's a Thursday. Okay, so
easily. So I want to see Netflix over 960 comfortably to be like, okay, this is ready to roll. For now, what I'm looking at is a breakout and continual retest. So I think it still stays stuck in this area, with 900 being the lows. But I think this is comfortably over 1,000 next year into the 12s. This is just this next move. The next move I really want to see over 960. And then I can be like, oh, okay, we're going to see 1,000 in this move. But it's consolidating here. It's not making new lows. It's just consolidating.
Right.
Remember, stocks go three directions. This one just happens to be going the third of those directions, which is to the side. T1 and T2. I'm watching Lost. And that's like, dude, that's a long one. You can watch Lost again. Mate, did you ever watch that?
I've never seen Lost. I've heard of it.
You never seen Lost?
Nope. I've
You
heard
might
of it.
like Lost. I don't know. You like Prison Break. It's some weird shit.
All right. That's it for us. We had Steve interrupt us for like 15 minutes, but we got through a lot of tickers. We got through almost 40 tickers.
Did someone just say Disney has support? Oh, I thought he said Disney has support at $11.
I hope.
No, that's too low. Disney support is $80.
We already talked about Bitcoin. He thinks Bitcoin's going up. So we
what do you mean? I think it is going up. I'm just reporting. It's like, Steve, I'm reporting to you that it is going up. We made a new high. I reported to you Tuesday that the lows were in on this day, Tuesday, December 2nd. Or no, Tuesday, December 10th. Go back, rewatch. You'll hear me say the lows are in a mate, and then you'll see him give me this funny look like, dude just like spouting out nonsense right now. And there it went.
All right. There we go. Jason, I don't know if you want to do these two quick ones, but Just Spell's mad. We didn't do AppLovin or Axon. You want to knock those out?
So Axon, really weird. So Axon added to the NASDAQ. Oops. Ooh.
EG, what the fuck is that? Look at that chart.
That's Big Five.
Little fart coin stuff.
Big Five is a retail sporting goods store. Axon, I don't know. So Axon is just a good company. Whenever things get included in some of these indices, you just need to let them breathe, right? And so I think that's what you're seeing for whatever reason, or excluded. Same thing. It was like the Sell the News event here. Axon has been an amazing performer long term. I mean, just so you know, look at this chart, right? Like Amit's talking about its Palantir chart over the last 2 years, but it's not the only big winner, right? These are massive, massive winners, and there are many out there. So for this to take a breather, I think makes sense. It's very overheated. Not that that matters. It's just whether or not it still has gas in the tank. And I think it's just, what am I looking for? 50 bill.
This is a really interesting company. They do a lot of body camera stuff. I haven't done my research.
So it is a thing, but like, okay, how big is body cameras and everything they play in? I would love it if they did drones. but I don't know if they do.
You're hung up on this drone thing, dude.
You know, I'm telling you, ask the people about the drone. Something's happening. AppLovin, same thing. So like, you just let it breathe. We did this last time. It's 305s is sideways, right? So you're sitting on the 20-day simple moving average. If you lose this is going to be rough. If you lose this is going to be one that's going to get absolutely hammered, and it's going to be in like the 250s. If it does. But the company, I think, is fine. It's just a matter of 113 billion. I can't talk about that valuation. That's crazy. 113 billion.
I don't know why AppLovin did what it did this year, but I mean, it was.
I don't know. It's because it's like, why did Carvana do what it did? Right?
Well, Carvana became profitable.
Bingo. So like but is it still going to go higher? Like, dude, by the way, what an amazing, this has got to be the greatest turnaround story in the stock market. Just so you guys, down 99, it was 99% on Carvana. Is that crazy? 99.
Then it went up 10x.
Ooh, dude, more than 10x, down 99%, legit, and then up 6,770%. I mean,
well, here's the thing: no one would have actually held. No one would have held for that full 6,000. That's the difference. I mean, dude. After the first 10x, you would be like, "Fuck, I'm 10x on Carvana. Like, I'm out." You know.
Yeah.
After a 5x, after a 2x, people would have left. So this one took patience to stay in. for long.
Well, I mean, this is 2 years. So if you had bought Carvana at $40 in January, do you sell now?
Where's that?
Maybe next
250?
January you are, you're in long-term gains. You can book it.
Yeah.
But this is wild. I mean, really, are there other turnaround stories in the market that have been like that? I mean, App Loving is similar, or it was, but it's even maybe crazier, right? Because it was up here. When it was over this, I was like, I'm gone. At 90, it is. Look at this, 92% down from the highs. And why it did this, I couldn't tell you. Carvana still wins 4,400%. Crazy, man.
All right. That's it for us, guys. Jason's Twitter right here in the
Appreciate
chat.
you guys.
Hit him up on Twitter. Tons of his tweets, his private group on his Discord, all that stuff. All of it's on Twitter. You can check him out. And we'll be back next Tuesday.
Yeah, there you go, Victor. My favorite Ponzi turnaround, 25 years. Crazy.
Yeah, MicroStrategy went down 99% at one point.
There you go.
Now,
There you go.
All right. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
Man. Adios,
see you next
guys.
week.
Appreciate all of you. I'll see you on the next one.
Bye, everyone. Bye, Jason. All right, guys. That's it for me. One quick thing I want to show you guys is we just got $400 million for Palantir. So the Army Vantage contract was just reaffirmed for Palantir, $400 million. So this is not a surprise, which is why the stock's not really moving after hours. A, because obviously a lot of growth is priced in. B, because everyone knew they would get this award. They were set to expire the award literally yesterday or today from last year's 1-year extension. They originally got this contract in 2019. So they've had this contract for the past 5 years now. And the fact that they got affirmed for another 4 years, $400 million, with a ceiling of $600 million, so the contract could be worth another $200 million, just means that the Army is willing to work with Palantir and build on top of Palantir because they like using the Army Vantage product. So we'll talk more about it tomorrow. I'll dive deeper into the contract, but $400 million for Palantir. Again, not really a surprise if you're familiar with this contract. If Palantir didn't get it, that would be a bigger surprise. Palantir was probably going to get it. There are some analysts on the street that don't like Palantir getting this deal. Analyst Louis De Palma, I think from Raymond James or William Blair, one of those companies, he thought Palantir would not get the extension last year, and he actually published a report last year at the end of 2023 saying Palantir is not going to get the extension. Palantir got the extension, and now we just got another 4 years. So not bad at all for Palantir getting this contract here right now, $400 million. All right, that's it for me. Thank you, everybody. I will see you guys tomorrow on the market open. I think I have the microphone fixed. I'm going to be getting a filter on this microphone as well. I know a lot of people don't think I have a filter, but I do have one. You guys can see it right here. It's just not the best one, I guess, because it's causing some issues with this mic. So I'm going to be getting a better one and making sure that this mic stuff doesn't happen. But I think, at least for today, the market close showed that microphone's okay. And then tomorrow morning, hopefully it's still okay as well. Worst case, if it's not okay, we know we can do the switch immediately, but it should be good now because we fixed it overnight. And that's it. Final thing, we're not going to watch this together, but I did post the full 8 minutes of Vlad talking about why he's donating to Trump for $2 million. So I haven't even watched it yet. I just posted it on Twitter. You guys can go to my Twitter. I put it in the description or put it in the chat. Yeah, 8 minutes of Robinhood CEO explaining why they're putting $2 million into Trump's campaign. Zuck put in $1 million. Bezos put in $1 million. Looks like Vlad is doubling down, putting in $2 million. And in this video, he talks about why he's doing that. So if you want to check that out, you can watch it right there on Twitter. What else? Is that it? I think that's pretty much it. We'll be back tomorrow. Oh, JPal's tomorrow. Okay, so tomorrow, market open. And then basically an hour later, we'll have JPal at 2:25. So big day tomorrow. We got to get that rate cut. And if we do get that rate cut and JPal's not that mean, if he's more Santa versus Grinch, hopefully end of the year is a strong year as we end out 2024. All right, that's it. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you guys. Love you all. Thank you all for sticking with me in the morning. For those that stayed, even though we had some technical difficulties, hopefully we are good with that now. And we'll be back tomorrow on the market open. All right. Bye, everyone. Have a good one. Good night.